Yes.
Okay, so why do you believe that?
He's
No,
a
brother, brother. This guy, he's saying he's not he believes everything. He believes Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. What I'm trying to put out to him that he can't believe that Islam and Christianity are both truth, because
At,
Islam said
at least
Jesus
you
is
have to.
not God,
At
and
least you have to
Christianity
let
says
him
it is.
explain
He is
himself.
not a Muslim. This is what I'm trying to say. He can identify himself as a Muslim, but he is not a Muslim. It's me saying I am a Muslim and I believe Jesus is God. Astaghfirullah. But I'm not
Hey,
Christian, man.
yo, GodLogic there? GodLogic. I
Okay,
think
so I want to say something real quick. So myself and you, we all know that you can't be a Muslim when you believe Jesus is God.
Yeah,
We all know that.
that's the
So now,
definition
great.
of
Yeah. So now, I want to hear from him why he thinks he believes that God, Jesus is God, and still can be a Muslim or still believe in Islam. I want to know, like, what is his understanding about it? We already know that you can't believe that Jesus is God whilst you're a Muslim, but I want to know his understanding. Why or what pushed him, what inspired him to have that belief and still believe in Islam?
Yes, that's a good question, brother. Basically, if we look at the Abrahamic faiths, right, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, a lot of the beliefs they overlap one another.
Mm,
Several beliefs overlap one another. Even
you,
the
you
same
you could,
characters.
John, you could say, like, basing God, Judaism and Islam is more similar than Christianity, but Christianity, it is totally different. They make a man out, they make a God out of a man. That's the point. And Muslims and Jews don't believe that Jesus is God or Son of God. We do have that faith in us. Like that, like, you can't say it is similar. Yes, we Muslims, we accept it. They have the same origin. Yes, but we don't worship the same God like Christians do. Christians do worship Jesus. And in Islam, it is the worst thing to compare anyone or anything to God. That's my point. You may say you are like a spiritual uh, journey or something like that, but if you believe that Jesus is God, you can't be a Jew, even spiritually, or Muslim. Like, no, you can't.
They're right.
Yeah,
I disagree. Disagree.
yeah. uh, I mean, like, I, why do you like? How can you be a Muslim and believe Jesus is God? How?
It's quite simple.
It's not simple. Like,
Bro,
if you're
he's trolling. He's trolling, bro. We spoke to him earlier. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not
How
telling
I'm
is
gonna
it
ask
you.
you the
telling
same
them that?
question, John, I'm gonna ask you the same question that brother Honest asked you earlier. How? Yeah, he's right. Like, how are you claiming you're Muslim but you believe in Jesus as God when the Quran clearly tells you that he's not? You know what I mean? And again, when you were asked how you define God, the things that you define God as, Jesus does not qualify for. So we're gonna ask you again, how are you standing on that claim? You're trolling, right? You're trolling us, bro, right? You're clearly trolling us, right?
Well, that's not true either. But
Um,
I feel it.
Right? I'm
listen,
talking to John. I'm talking to John. John, right? John, Jesus doesn't qualify. So how are you standing on that as a supposed Muslim?
Shadid, we're having a very serious conversation, and the last thing that I'm doing is trolling. Now, you asked me a question. Let me answer your question. If we look at the Quran, we do know that Jesus is heavily regarded in good standing in the Quran. Uh,
Say
what you
it
said
again. Can
to
you
me
speak
now.
up? Speak up, John. John, I can't hear you. Speak up. Say it again. What?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, but speak clearly. Like, what are you saying now?
Yeah. I was just saying how if we look at the Quran, we know that Jesus is very highly regarded in the Islam faith, and
are
he's looked at as
are
a prophet.
are you
But I mean, the
teaming up?
Quran. But now, look, when you talk about the Quran clearly tells you that he's not God in the Quran. So I mean, How are you claiming to be a Muslim and claiming that Jesus is God according to the Quran?
Well, firstly, it's the Quran, not the Koran.
Bro, look, you know what, man? Look, I'm not playing. Get the fuck out of here, man. This guy's playing games. Get out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. You playing games with me, bro? Talking about it's Quran, not Quran. Like, shut up, man. Dumbass, man. This guy's fucking joking.
He said it's not the Quran.
You know what I mean? Like, no. Look, we already know that. No real Muslim is gonna claim that Jesus is God in any way. Whether I pronounce it Quran, like, you know, man, just stop playing games with it, bro. We ain't got time for this tonight. Get out of here.
Don't forget the Quran says مثل عيسى عند الله كمثل آدم. So this is refuting him. Isa to Allah is like Adam. He created him from nothing. He said be and he was. So unless God created himself and was not God and became God. And then there's so many ayat in the Quran that talk about if God had taken a son, the world would destroy itself. This is something blasphemous to say that your Lord has taken a son. SubhanAllah, and over and over and over, the Quran states this over. There is no Lord but Allah. And these messengers are the prophets of Allah.
I mean, brother, you ain't brother. It's obviously clear from the Quran that he's not God. So clearly this John guy, he's trolling. Clearly, there's no way you're gonna talk about a Muslim, but I'm gonna claim Jesus is God and as a Muslim. Come on, man. The Quran is clear about it. It's clear. You know what I'm saying? So anything other than that is clearly just trolling. He's clearly just playing the joke with everybody.
Yeah, it is very clear in the Quran that Jesus is not God, and everybody knows that. This is like even in the Bible, Jesus never says, "I am God, worship me."
I don't think it's that clear, because there is a verse that says that he's the Lord with Allah. So that's a tough verse.
So do you accept Allah as your Lord?
Well, I'm just saying,
we're Lord with Allah.
We're talking about the Quran.
You said that the verse that says he's the Lord. I mean, first of all, no. Again, that it still doesn't work because again, there are clear verses that just says he's not God, right?
Well, that would be a contradiction.
Did you say that you and your mother to take me as God? He says no, right? Mm-hmm. No, you're my God, you're my Lord. So I mean, it's pretty clear that he's not God. Surah 575. I mean, it's clear.
So then, how do we reconcile that type of thought, right? Which I acknowledge what you just said, but with versus the verse that says that they take their monks and their rabbis as Lord beside Allah and the Messiah.
Yeah, that means they take the words of the monks before.
He's telling you what they. Wait, hold on. How are you using it? Because that's not telling you that that's the case. It's telling you that that's what they do. That's not the Quran telling you that he's God, though. So I'm. What are you talking about?
No, you missed what I said. So like, it says that
the verse is just telling you what the wrongdoers do, what the disbelievers, what they do, how they falsely do.
Exactly. So the verse.
So how are you taking that? How are you taking that as a claim that it's not clear in the Quran that Jesus is God? Then when that verse is just telling you what they're doing, it's not telling you that it's the truth, right? Allah's not saying the truth is Jesus is the Lord along with Allah, right? He's telling you what the disbelievers do.
No, so in the verse it says
wait a minute. And Allah is explaining there that the Christians are going beyond what they even believe.
I got you. Let me just say something.
Even beyond the Trinity, they go and worship the monks.
I know. You gotta.
So that is man, like clear.
You gotta let me say something here. So the verse says that they, right, the people who are in the wrong, they take their rabbis and their monks as lords besides Allah and the Messiah. So
Allah, the true God.
Saying, hold on, let me finish.
Wait. What verse are you talking about? Wait. What verse are you talking about? What verse are you talking about?
I believe it's 931. I believe it's
931.
So he's talking about trouble when Allah was saying they take rabbis and the monks and things for gods other than Allah.
As Lord,
Allah clarified that at the end of that,
brother. Other than Allah and the Messiah.
No, wait. No, that's what I'm saying. What verse is that? What chapter? Chapter what?
Chapter 9, verse 31.
Let's see. Chapter 9, 30 what?
31.
Let's see.
I told you, Austin, that is beyond. Even beyond the desperate.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah, you're reading that wrong. Here's how it says: they have taken their Lord.
I wanted to read it clear for him.
They have taken their learned men and their monks for their lords besides Allah. So have they taken the Messiah. So it's not saying that they've taken them
if you want to
along.
get it correctly, you have
guys,
to start with the
guys,
map.
that's not what it says in the
Yeah,
Say again,
ikhwa,
what?
the interruptions. Yeah, ikhwa, relax. Shadid is talking, he got it. The ayah is there in front of us. It's a verse, it's an easy verse. Yani, it's just like Shadid said, they took their monks, their priests, and the Messiah.
No, it doesn't say that. So
yeah, I have 3-4 translations in front of me, man.
Good. So now
they have taken their rabbis, their monks, as well as the Christ, son of Mary, for their
It
Lord.
doesn't say that in the Arabic, my friend. It doesn't say that in the Arabic. In the Arabic, it doesn't say as well.
Okay, so let's read the Arabic then.
As Lord
Come on.
besides Allah.
You
Read
got
the
Arab
Arabic.
people.
Read the Arabic to us, God. Read the Arabic to us.
This is why, and I hope because I'm listening to you guys. I hope you guys.
Please don't start complaining. Don't start complaining.
No,
I'm not. Just stick to the point, man. Go ahead, read it in Arabic. Read it in Arabic, then go ahead. Because obviously, that's clearly how it's conveyed. They're saying that they're not saying that Allah's not saying that Jesus is a Lord along with him. Because I mean, if you're taking that stance, no, it's not, because the verses is clear that he's not a Lord with Allah. Right? Throughout the whole Quran, you're being told that he's not a Lord. So this is like the brother is saying, and as the translators have conveyed, as the translators have all conveyed, right?
That would be a contradiction.
Jesus is just one of the additional persons that they have taken as lords other than Allah. That's all.
Then why does it say that they take as Lord? They take their monks and their rabbis as lords beside Allah and the Messiah. Not that they take their rabbis, monks, and the Messiah as lords beside Allah. It's they take their rabbis and their monks.
Yeah,
read the Arabic. Read the Arabic. Settle it, GodLogic. Settle it by reading the Arabic. Go ahead.
All right, let me pull it up for you.
Yeah, pull it up. Let's see.
All right, let me get the corpus, and I'm gonna put the link in the link for everybody too, so you guys can pin it up.
Yeah, because every translation I'm reading, No Logic, it's the clear Quran.
I don't know who No Logic is.
Okay, I have 3 translations in front of me. Every one of them includes even Christ or the Son of Mary, the Messiah, or Christ.
I also have translations in front of me.
Yeah, I know, but this
and they're all mixed.
It's funny because you said the Arabic. So
yeah, exactly. So
Abu Adam, after you are coming, because I have a very
let's go to the Arabic and stop relying on English translations, because this will knock it all out. So let's just go straight to the Arabic.
Yeah, I speak Arabic. Don't forget that, No Logic.
Let's go to the Arabic, but it doesn't matter, because I mean the rest of the verse still clarifies that Jesus is not a God. Regardless, it still clarifies that Jesus is not a God along with Allah anyway. So however you put it, however you take it, it's clear he's not a God along with Allah anyway. But go ahead.
All of this is proven is that the Quran is inconsistent on this topic. The Quran
it just proves that you don't understand Arabic grammar or how to read.
Hold on. GodLogic, run that Arabic. Stop chasing your tail like a dog and run the Arabic, please.
I bet. So here.
Yeah, go ahead. Just read it.
I got the link for you guys.
Just read it, bro. We don't need the link. Read it.
No, read it in Arabic. You do need the link, and the audience needs to see.
No, we don't, because we got Arabic people. And I understand. Arabic. So go ahead and just read it, man. Stop calling and read it. Come on.
So that we can all, those of us who don't actually know the Arabic,
just read it in Arabic, man. Come on, go for it.
Give me a second.
Read it in Arabic.
In the link. Give me a second.
Read it out. Tell me what arbaba min dunillah means. Go ahead.
One second.
Yes, exactly, Akhi Muhammad. He's trying to say that this including Isa as Allah beside Allah.
Well, that's what it says. So.
Look, read it in Arabic. Go ahead. I'm waiting. Okay, I'm all ears. Go ahead.
1 second. We're about to post it. Be patient.
Bro,
listen, read it. It's in Arabic. Go ahead.
Come on. Patience is one of the gifts of the
Spirit. Abi, if you don't understand Arabic, neither read.
Guys,
that's what it says.
I pray that God gives you guys the gift of patience.
We pray that you read it and stop stalling.
Nobody's stalling.
Arbabam min dunillah. Translate that for me.
All right, here we go. All right, so moderators, please post this up so that we can all see and read it.
Read it, man. Read it in Arabic. Abu Adam speaks Arabic.
So
go ahead. Arabic.
Look at the verse here. It says, right? They have taken. Right? I'm not even going to try to pronounce.
Read in Arabic, man.
They have taken
Arabic, please.
Their rabbis and their monks.
You're reading in English.
Read
the Arabic.
You said you was going to read it in Arabic.
I'm going to stop. I want the Arabic, man. Come on now. Read the Arabic. The hell you read English for? Arabic.
This is for all the audience. Listen, this guy GodLogic said he was going to read it in Arabic for us. That's why we're trying to emphasize that. Read it in Arabic. Stop running around your tail and stop trying to read in English. Read it in Arabic, and it's better be correct.
Why, are you still rehearsing or something?
He got caught with pants down.
Why am I muted when I was just reading it? You guys
You muted yourself.
Oh my God, this is too much.
Y'all are hilarious.
Okay, sorry. We are sorry. We are sorry.
Let me
You
do
are
it
now
again.
not muted.
Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Let me do it again.
Go ahead.
Okay. Right. So they have taken their rabbis and their monks as lords.
That's Arabic?
Min duni.
Arabic.
Min duni Allah. Wa Masih.
Listen, what's Arbab? What's
Wal
Arbab?
Masiha.
Forget everything else. Arbab, what does it mean?
Masiha.
Oh my God. What does Arbab mean?
Hold on.
Wait.
What
You said
what? No.
Listen.
What does
Listen, calm down. Relax. Calm down. Take a deep breath.
What does
Take a deep breath, bro. Don't scream. Don't scream.
No, you're
Take a
the
deep
one
breath.
screaming over top of me.
Arbab. What does it mean?
mean?
Oh my God.
Answer the
Arbab,
question.
what does it mean?
Answer the
Arbab.
question.
Arbab. Yeah, give me what does it mean? Arabic word says
Answer the
arbab.
question.
I'm answering you. Arbab. Arbab. Yeah, arbab. Yes, they have done so. And let me give you now the final answer. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked the same question by a rabbi.
No, are you
It's
going to
your
answer the
Quran
question?
says, wait, calm down, relax.
No, but are you going to
You
answer
must
the
ask
question?
the same question. 1 second, bro. Calm down, man. Not going nowhere.
You need to be looking at the part where it says,
wait.
Messiah.
Can somebody please mute him? Listen. Rasulullah was asked by a rabbi.
What does Arbaban means? That is what you have to answer.
Ya ikhwa, mashallah, man. You hear the brother Muhammad talking.
Arbaban here is Lord.
يعني mashallah, please, brothers.
Here is Lord.
تفضل يا محمد.
Min duni Allah wal Masih.
Akhi Muhammad, continue, brother. Akhi Muhammad, continue. Don't worry, don't worry. I'll get you.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue, brother Muhammad.
Why are you so scared, man? What's going on?
You know what? You haven't
Listen,
done
you are the
anything.
one.
Look,
scared.
Again, who's doing it? Again, GodLogic. Who is doing it? Your argument still fails. They're doing something wrong. They've taken Allah and the Messiah as Lord. So they're still wrong, right? He's telling you these are what they've done wrong. When you read the rest of the verse, what does the rest of the verse say? You're acting like that verse is confirming that Jesus is Lord with Allah. He's telling you what they've done wrong. Just like in the other places where he says they've taken Jesus and his mother as Lord besides Allah. What's the difference? You're wrong. So what kind of argument are you making, bro? What kind of argument are you making there?
Can I respond to that?
It still shows you that it's wrong, right? Is Allah confirming that Jesus is the Lord with Allah, or is he telling you that that's what the people have done wrong? That they've taken Allah and Jesus as lords, right? They're wrong though, right? Because in other places, he told you the same thing. They've taken his mother, right? And Jesus as lords with Allah as well. So what does that mean that that's true?
I hear you.
So your argument is built upon a false foundation. We know it's wrong. He's not a Lord. It doesn't confuse anything. They're not lords besides Allah. They're not gods other than Allah. If you hear me, then why did you try to use that to make an argument when it's clear that it's telling you that they've done this wrong? They've taken their Lord as rabbis, and they've taken Jesus, they've taken his mother. All of it is wrong. How are you trying to make it claim that somehow this is supposedly the correct thing? He's telling you that they're wrong, right? You admit that he's telling you that they're wrong, correct? You admit that he's telling you that they're wrong, right?
Let me respond to what you just said, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what you just said is it's a little bit off. And what I mean by that is what they're doing that's wrong is taking their rabbis and their monks as lords. That's what they're doing.
And also taking. No, please, nothing. What do you mean? Bro, the verse is telling you that they've done all of that wrong. Whether they take their lords as gods alone besides Allah, or they take Allah partners with Jesus, they're still wrong.
No, it had nothing to do with
missing, right?
No, not
it does. You said the Messiah.
Let me just, if I can complete my thought, Shadid, please. So look.
Complete your thought on what though?
On my argument so that you can understand.
You're trying to assert what? Wait. Let's be clear. What you're trying to assert? What?
I'm trying to tell you.
You said it earlier. Just repeat yourself again. You're trying to say that the verse is somehow saying that Jesus is actually a Lord along with Allah? Is that what you're trying to say?
Shadid, if you can just let me make my point, maybe you can understand where I'm coming from.
Well, get to it. Come on, get to it. You already said it earlier. It's not like you need to explain it again.
So, okay,
all right, let's see. Go ahead.
So notice how the verse, it doesn't say anything about that they're doing anything wrong with how they consider the Messiah. It has nothing to do with that. The verse says,
no, yes, it does. Yes, oh my God, God, let's get out of here, man. Get out. Yes, it does. The whole verse is telling you, bro. The whole verse is telling you that all of that is wrong, bro. Stop it. The whole verse is it is telling you that it's wrong about the Messiah. That's why the rest of the verse goes on to tell you there is no other God but Allah. See? So yes, it is telling you that it's wrong that they've taken their rabbis as lords, and it's also wrong that they've taken, and it's also wrong that they've taken the Messiah as a Lord along with Allah. We know that's the case because again, that same point is reiterated in the Quran and other places where it talks about how they've taken Jesus as a God and his mother other than Allah. That's wrong too, right? So all of that is wrong. How are you trying to say, it doesn't mean that it's wrong in regards to, Christians are like fucking amazing. How you attempt to insert your nonsense into the Quran. It's clear from the Quran, Jesus is not God at all. He's not a partner with Allah at all. His mother is not a partner with Allah at all. So throughout the Quran, no logic, stop it. It's clear that he's not associated with Allah, right? And whoever does that is wrong. The rest of the verse shows you that it is wrong in regards to taking their rabbis, and it is wrong in regards to Jesus as well. Allah is clear throughout the Quran. He has no partners. So for you to try to take that and make it seem like it's condoning that Jesus is the Lord with him, that's a fallacious argument completely.
Okay.
That.
So the verse says that they have taken their rabbis and their monks as lords beside Allah and the Messiah. So all you're doing,
and all of that is wrong, and all of it 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 is wrong. Read the rest of the. If you're an honest guy, because you're not an honest guy. If you're an honest guy,
you're afraid of what
you're afraid of what? No,
Assalamu
alaikum, brothers.
It's not about being afraid. You're on bullshit. That's what it is. I don't. You already know how I operate. You already know how I operate. You already know how I operate. I don't tolerate bullshit. You're not scared of what? You're an effing liar. We've already seen you, bro.
You're in
panic mode. Right? You know that. You know we dealt with you before. You're an effing liar. Panic mode for what? Read the rest of the verse. Okay, then read the rest of the verse. Read the rest of the verse. Doesn't the rest of the verse show you that Jesus is not a Lord with Allah? Doesn't the rest of the verse show you that?
Let me continue.
Abri, can you open up Surah Al-Ma'idah 72?
Like, come on, bro.
Let me read it. Just like you said, I'm gonna do exactly what you want.
Go ahead, read it.
All right, mashallah. So it says, right? Let me just read all of it, okay? From all the 31 and the 32. Okay. They have taken their rabbis and their monks as lords besides Allah and the Messiah, son of Mary.
Yeah,
and not they were commanded except that they worship one God. There is no God except him. Glory be to him for what they associate.
Exactly. Thank you.
So guess
right.
what?
So putting Jesus along with Allah is wrong.
Who is
There's
him?
only one God. Because there's only one God. Because there's only one God. Because there's only one God, exactly. And
Allah, yes, one God, two persons.
The one God is Allah. The one God is Allah. Thank you. The one God is Allah. You've been told that. Move. Shut the fuck up and get out of here. This guy's an idiot. The one God is Allah. The Quran tells you that throughout the whole thing. So your argument is complete BS. You know it. Thank you. I'm glad you read. Everybody heard him. He read the rest. There's only one God. Didn't it say two of them? And there's only one, right? He said they taken the Messiah and Allah, right? And their rabbis. And that's wrong, correct? Why? Because your Lord, your God is only one. You're one. Jesus and
Well, that didn't take long for them to kick me off, did it? That didn't take long at all, ladies and gents. Give me 1 second. Come on up, ladies and gents. Come on up. How are you guys?
What's up, Avery? Very good job there. You have to hold their feet to hold their feet to the fire, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think it got out of hand, but I'm glad you disconnected the call and do a refresh.
Did they kick you?
No, I'm still in there. I'm actually about to leave though, because they're not gonna let me back up. But I'll raise my hand again to see if I can get back up. I'll raise my hand again and see what happens. But so yeah, I just raised my hand again. We'll see if they let me up again.
You see how they were ignoring the part wa Allah wa al-Masih, Allah and the Messiah. So it's pairing Allah, it's putting Allah and the Messiah, Ibn Maryam, which is Christ. We would say is Christ, and saying no, they're not paired together. It's actually supposed to be. So Avery, get this: they're trying to fix the Quran. They're trying to say it should say they have taken the rabbis, monks, and lords and the Messiah besides Allah. What it wants it to say.
Can I comment if you allow?
It doesn't say that.
Exactly.
Can I comment if you allow me?
Hi, brother. How are you?
Of course. How you doing, John? Of course.
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
So the verse
on the issue.
Hold on. Islam was first. Let's let Islam go first. The Nay said Muhammad's true spirit, man. Yeah, he started cussing me out, guys.
I did not. Point, but the guy.
I did not like that.
So stupid that he's cursing you out because he doesn't want to listen to the truth.
No, I don't appreciate that. I mean, I'm a Muslim and I don't like the way that that took along. I completely wish that never happened, and I hope the brother learns from this that no matter how heated the argument becomes, there's a mutual respect that must be taken and must be upheld throughout the entire debate or conversation, whatever you want to call it. Right. But if I may interject just about this verse that you mentioned in chapter 9, verse 31. So the word al-Masih, which is the Messiah and the Son of Mary, right? They both end with the vowel fatha, which is a vowel that's on top of the last letter, which makes the word, for that reason, it makes the word as part of the first group, which is the rabbis and the rabbis and monks. So it's just moving one word behind the word of God, and this is done always in Arabic grammar, where one word is moved before or after, and the vowel play and gives it context. That's all that it's doing. So even that's why some translation or most translation translate it that way. And I know you mentioned earlier, you said, hey, but what does it say in Arabic? And I agree with you. In the Arabic, the word Jesus or Messiah is placed beside God. You're right. But the vowel on the word Jesus puts it in context, which means it is grouped with the monks and rabbis. That's what I wanted to say. It's just Arabic grammar, and it's done that constantly in Arabic and in the Quran, where the vowels give the context to the verse. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, so when it says, I'm looking at it here, and it says wal Masiha, right? Why
yes,
is there
wal Masih, correct. Wal Masih.
Is it connected to like Allah, or because that's what it?
So we look at
Masih isn't Messiah. Al-Masih. That's Masih is the person, is a Christian. Al-Masih or Masihiyun, Christians. So what are you talking about, Islam?
So
Masih is referring to a person, not Al-Messiah. Al-Masih is a person.
It's not Masihi. It ends with a fatha.
You said it's a Masihi. A Masihi is the person.
I said it ends with a fatha. That's what I'm saying. It ends with a fatha, not a kasra.
Well, even when you pronounced it, Masihi, no one says Masiha. No one says
even if I didn't say it, the verse says fatha. It doesn't matter what it says. The word, the ayah, the verse has fatha at the end of Masih, which groups it in this context with the verse. If it was a dhamma or a kasra, then yes, you have an argument. But it's a fatha. So the fatha is the vowel at the end of the word masih, which brings it and groups it with the first. And this is done countlessly, a number of times in Arabic. This is just a one-on-one Arabic.
They had to add it, but in the original Quran, without the dots and the letters and the vowels, they had to add that, the fatha and the dhamma and the kasra, in order to make that. But in the original Arabic, it doesn't say that. So the argument is still valid because you guys didn't know where to put the dhamma and the fatha and the kasra. So it's actually your corruption that you're doing to the Quran in order to make things work with your narrative. Because the original didn't have the dhamma and the fatha and the kasra. Why are you lying?
You know the history? Do you know the history of it? Do you know why they don't have the kasra?
I've seen it. Don't worry about that.
Oh, no, I mean,
but you guys can add it to fit your own narrative, but that's not what
fine.
The
I mean,
say.
this is anybody could claim such thing, right? Anybody could say whatever. Can you back it up? Can you prove what you're saying? Do you know the history and the reason why?
Did the original Quran have dhamma and fatha and kasra?
The original.
All of these
how about the original Quran was memorized? It was never written down. So it was memorized. Then it was written down.
So with or without the fatha and the kasra and all of that
with even if it was written down, do you know why the kasra and fatha were written down?
Was the original written with the dhamma and the fatha and the kasra? Yes or no?
Of course not. But there's a reason.
Thank you.
I'm not denying. I'm not denying that. I never denied that it was never written down.
So that's the point.
I never said no.
Point. Perfect. That's the point I'm trying to make. You guys can add the dhamma and the fatha and the kasra wherever you guys want to change the meaning of the verse. But the original verse, like you admitted, doesn't have the dhamma and the fatha.
Where are you bringing this from? Where are you bringing this from?
You just admitted GodLogic. Am I crazy or did he just admit
so let's lay the point down. So what Chloe is saying, and it sounded like you agreed with her in the beginning, is that in the original Quran, on the original script, right, there weren't those markings and vowel or whatever, that stuff. I can't even pronounce this.
Of course not. No, of course they weren't.
So you're saying that those vowel markings or whatever is what makes, like, that addition to the word on Masih or whatever it is.
Yes.
That's what makes that word part of the previous group. But without that, the word is connected with Allah. Besides,
but this
Allah.
is what I said. I agree with you. Okay, can I just speak for like 30 seconds and you guys could talk. What I'm trying to say is I agree what you're saying. You guys are saying that the Quran was revealed and never originally had no vowels. I'm 100% in agreement. That's not my argument. What I'm saying is the Quran was sent down as a verbal revelation, meaning it was memorized. Then it was written down. At the time of the Prophet, everything that was written down was never used. Vowels were never used. Later on, a couple of hundred years later, then the vowels were introduced, but it was already memorized. So if it was memorized wal masihi or wal masihu, then the vowel would be written down with a dhamma or a different vowel. But because it was memorized al masiha, the fatha was used. So this conjunction of it was made up or changed, it doesn't make sense because it was memorized by thousands and thousands and thousands of people. If someone had a devilish intention in changing the vowels, then you'd have to convince the memorization of thousands of people that the way you're reciting it is wrong. So I'm not denying that the vowels were introduced later. I'm not denying that. Of course, this is history. What I'm saying is, if it was memorized as al-masiha and someone wants to write with a dhamma al-masihu, then someone that has it memorized alongside with thousands of people will say, hey, this is wrong. Why do you have a dhamma here? It should be a fatha. That's what I'm saying. It's an oral tradition. It's not a written tradition. I could destroy all the books of the Quran alongside the Bible, and the only book will come back to the right way is the Quran. This is my argument. I'm not, saying anything else.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
So, yeah, no problem. No, yeah.
If I may.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So according to the report of the son of Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, Umar reportedly said, "Let none of you say, I have got the whole of the Quran." How does he know what all of it is? Much of the Quran has gone. Let him instead say, I have got what has survived. Again, just wanted to make sure that that's clear, that according to the son of the Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, an important source, it is written, much of the Quran has been gone from a very early source. So to say that all of the Quran was memorized by these early generations, their pronunciation. That just can't be true when earliest sources say much of the Quran has been gone, and by people that are pretty important in terms of Islamic history.
Please provide the verse or the hadith number, what you're referring to, so I can know.
Yeah, sure thing. Let's see, this is Jalal al-Din Abdul Rahman Abi, let's see, Al-Tan Fu'alam Al-Quran, Halabi, Cairo, 1935, 1354, volume 2, page 25. Or if you want, there's actually a book that I've been using that's pretty good. Ibn Waraq, Origins of the Quran, Classic Essays on Islam's Holy Book, from 1998, New York Amherst, Prometheus Books. So it's a pretty good source on early Islamic writing if you want. Again, that's Ibn Waraq, Origins of the Quran, Classic Essays on Islam's Holy Book, respected scholar who speaks about these very important high-level sources. Again, Abu Ubaid's Kitab Fadail al-Quran mentions the exact same information. Said Abu Ubaid, Ismail bin Ibrahim, related to us from Ayub, from Nafi, from Ibn Umar, who said, "Let none of you say, I have learned the whole of the Quran. For how does he know what the whole of it is when much of it has disappeared? Let him rather say, I have learned what is extent thereof." So just to be clear, from the earliest sources, who are pretty important, essays, much of it has been lost. Much of it has been totally lost. So to say that a great number of people have memorized the pronunciation is incorrect, because they haven't even memorized the whole of the Quran, according to the earliest sources in Islam. So I just wanted to make sure that's very clear. Along with, of course, let's see, Hassan, Good, Sahih Sunan, Ibn Majah, and other places that mention parts of the Quran that have been lost, specifically the sucklings of the 10 breasts for a man and a woman, and the stoning of 2 older people in adultery has been eaten by a goat. And that's reported from very important sources to have been lost, along with Sunan Ibn Majah. And I'm trying to remember where else. This was, let's see, Qasim B. Salam. And this is Bukhari? Okay, sorry about that. I didn't mean to take that. Oh, yeah, Sahih Muslim. Sorry about that. That was Sahih Muslim. 1451a and 1453, about the loss of certain parts of the Quran because the goat ate it. So just wanted to be clear that you can't say the whole of the Quran has been memorized, even by pronunciation or anything, if a great deal of it is missing. Sorry about taking up that time, GodLogic. Didn't mean to.
No, it's all good, and we'll let the everyone engage too. Just want to read this out real quick. Yeshua the King said, if you destroyed all Bibles, we all memorized Jesus died for our sins. So we likewise have things memorized that will prove Islam false. Thank you, Yeshua the King. Yes, he is the King. Amen. John Priera, did you want to say something? I know you was trying to get in earlier. You there, John? Okay, well, until he gets that going together, first I want to say thank you to Islam, and am I saying your name Islam Jabir?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. You should. Okay, I don't want to butcher your name, man, but thank you for your demeanor, man. How you coming up and respectfully and being willing to have these type of engagements and things of this nature. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Basically calling out the wrong.
I actually wanted to mention something about yourself. So I'm very new to this live stream on YouTube and whatnot. And I was asked multiple times, because I do short clips on my YouTube channel, and I was asked multiple times to go on Sam Shamoun's live stream. Yep. And I did. I wanted to, refute one point he was mentioning. And the only thing he did was curse and humiliate and just humiliate me, the prophet, God. And I'm just like, that's, man, I mean, I know that Christians, everyone I've dealt with, all my friends that are Christians and all the people that I associate with at work and whatnot, they're so respectful, no matter what the differences are. And so when I stumbled on your channel, and very recently, maybe in the past week, I just, the way you present yourself, the way you present your arguments, I mean, you have the same arguments as Sam has, but the way you present them is different. So, I'll have a dialogue with you anytime versus him. I'll never have a dialogue with him, no matter how strong he thinks his arguments are. Right? So I just appreciate the way you conduct yourself. And there's a verse, and I'm sure you know the verse in the Quran, that Christians don't have arrogance, right? And it's because you guys have priests and rabbis amongst you. And I believe it. So, the true Christians, the true followers of Jesus, don't have arrogance to them, right? Even though we don't see eye to eye in terms of our beliefs, but I respect that we respect each other, and that's how it should be. So the man that cursed you earlier, I was really hurt for that, and I wish he benefits and learns. And if you know him, to mention to him that Islam doesn't, there's a clear verse in the Quran that mentions even we cannot ever humiliate or curse other gods, so they don't curse our gods, right? Or my God, not gods, my God.
Yeah. That verse. Do not mock their gods, lest they mock Allah and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why you'll never find me cursing Jesus. I might defend a point or prove a point about either the Trinity or whatever, but the respect is mutual, and that's why I came onto your channel. But that's just as I know. But continue what you were saying.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, obviously their conversation was about, I guess, the deity of Christ. Now there was a guy in that room. I don't know how long you was here in the stream. There was a guy in the room that was saying that he believes both in Islam and in Christianity while affirming the deity of Christ, also affirming the prophethood of Muhammad and the Quran and stuff like that. And so they were kind of getting on him about that. Like they were saying that that's impossible, which I agree with. You can't have both. They literally contradict each other. They have two contradicting fundamental truth claims, whether or not Jesus is divine or not, whether or not he is, the sacrificial lamb or not, things of this nature. And so they were basically checking him on that. And I just chimed in a little bit with a little fun poke with 931. A face there. There you go. I see a face, David.
I was just able to set up, so.
Oh, good. We gave you some time. So Jabir, what did you think about what David was mentioning about that no one can say that they have memorized all of the Quran?
So I do want to actually, there's a lot to say about the hadith he brought up. Many of them are weak hadith, and I'm sure you understand that weak hadith are never used in deriving law or whatnot in our tradition. Only strong hadith, right? But the problem is I have to enter into a place right this, in the next minute. So I don't want to start my, what I want to say and then be cut off. But I'm hoping that maybe later on in this live stream, or maybe if it's not this live one, next time, I'd love to address this point. But that's why I don't want to start something.
No, yeah. You're definitely welcome anytime, man. You're welcome anytime I go live. I don't know if you're subscribed and you get a notification or whatever. You're always welcome.
I'm subscribed and I have the bell raised for you.
Oh, that's amazing. If my skin was any lighter, I'd be blushing red, honestly. But I appreciate it. So yeah, you're always welcome to come on, man, and we can have a discussion, man. And David too, man. You come on next time and let's get in, because this is an interesting topic. Like basically the preservation of the Quran and how all that works. That is a interesting topic. I love that topic. And especially if we have somebody that's kind of knowledgeable on that subject, that's pretty good, like Jabir. So, but yeah, you're always welcome, my brother. Always welcome.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I see it. There's other people here. Did y'all want to say something? And even you, David, you can say something if you want. Daniel's here. Chloe, you're still here. John, if you got your mic better. Were you guys listening to the discussion I was just having with Shadid and them?
I missed it. I didn't get to see that part.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I basically ended up getting cussed out and thrown down to the audience because of the position that I was taking based upon the formation of the Arabic. Where it says that Jesus or the Messiah is Lord beside Allah, and he was cussing. He cussed me out, man.
You were
right. Get the F out of here, man.
You are right about the Arabic thing. I speak Arabic myself, so I can confirm it.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. But yeah, I mean, we're here, guys. You know, if there's anything you guys want to share, man, it's all good. If you guys want to share anything,
Omegle, Avery, Omegle.
we could do Omegle. We could do Omegle. I knew this. I knew the conversation wouldn't last. I knew I would be kicked out real soon. I didn't know how soon, so I just started the stream and, you know, hoped for the best. Hope I knew what was going to happen. I just didn't know how long, you know. So
I'd love to actually just add a few points. I know Islam Jabir won't be able to listen right now. He's going into something, but just for the sake of, you know, the audience to understand what like the current scholarly beliefs about the preservation of the Quran is, I just wanted to read something. I'm working on this very large folder of different cults and how to respond to different cults and other religions. It's just part of my seminary studies, but Dr. Yasser Qadi himself had mentioned this for part of my essay, actually, when he was talking about variations in the standard Islamic narrative and holes in it. And a very important talk, he said, we're not just talking about different voices and styles, we are talking about differences in letters. If you compare two Qurans, you will see differences between them, especially the Qurans in Algeria or Morocco. You see changes in letters and full words. From Dr. Yasser Qadi, who's one of the, you know, like preeminent Islamic scholars.
That's why they started to disown him.
Oh, exactly. And also, even Dr. Shabir Ali, in his description, where he says most Muslims read the 1924 Egyptian edition of the Quran, in which he puts a small aside to say most of them don't know that it's called the Egyptian edition, they just call it the Quran, which is, I think, is important to mention. But this is also not the only Muslim text read around the world. A manuscript has been discovered in Sunai, in Yemen, referred to as the Sunai manuscript. It has two layers of Quranic writing. Bottom layer, the older text, as he parenthetically notes, has been scraped off, while the top layer, the newer, is closer to what modern Muslims read. The older bottom text has variations from today's modern text, not just pronunciation differences, but he says words removed, words added, words and sentences mixed around. This is Dr. Shabir Ali, dictated from Shabir Ali video on the Sunai manuscript. So just like so people can understand the scholarship in even Islamic historical analysis is that the idea of a perfectly preserved Quran is just illogical. The idea of some sort of historically perfectly preserved Quranic manuscript is not a thing. Even with the fact that the earliest writings post the death of Muhammad in like 632 AD or something. Yeah, 632 AD. The earliest extant manuscripts we have about Muhammad outside of, you know, some sort of Quranic writings, 201 years after his death. And I'm talking some of the historical writings, and then maybe like 238 years after his death is when we have the extant manuscripts for Sahih Muslim and Al-Bukhari. Like those 238-ish years after his death is when we have the extant manuscripts of those hadith. So just compare those eyewitness accounts and that chain of narration, as it's called, to the dating of biblical manuscripts, biblical writing, and church father writing, right? Church father writing from the 1st and 2nd century, whether we're talking about Irenaeus or, oh my goodness, Polycarp. Just really important for people to understand. The biblical account is so much closer to the 1st century or within the 1st century that it is no comparison for the Christian doctrine and manuscripts compared to Islamic, especially when a bunch of hadiths talk about the burning of many Qurans from many different groups. So I just wanted to say that so that people can understand what actual scholarship about Islam says, instead of this idea about perfect preservation. It's just not a thing.
Amen, brother. Amen to that. I have these conversations all the time with our Muslim friends, especially the ones who are still holding to the word for word Quran perfect preservation position. Word for word, no changes, no differences, no nothing. That
stroke for stroke, dot for dot.
Yeah, dot for dot, word for word, letter for letter. You know what I mean? That type of thing. is literally either the person is lying by saying that, or they're just ignorant on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Like I am surprised, kind of, but not really, but yes, a little bit, at how many people still in 2023 will say that the Quran is preserved word for word, letter for letter, perfect preservation, right down to the dots. You know, that type of position is old and played out now. You know, but people are still go in Clubhouse. If I hosted a room right now, they'll come up and they'll say that. Not
And
a single.
if you quote like a high level hadith, like Sahih Muslim or Al Bukhari, where Aisha straight up narrates that a goat ate part of the Quran and it's not there anymore, then they say weak hadith. I'm like, it's Sahih Muslim, it's Sahih Al Bukhari, like that. I don't think you can get higher than Bukhari, right? That's like Aisha's narration.
Nah, that's second to the Quran, you know, unless you're Quran only, shoot. But yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. We gotta see. Just a little update on what's going on, guys. So far, since the announcement of the Patreon, we have 17 patrons that are subscribed to the Patreon. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys who have been coming on and getting on board and supporting the channel that way. Again, if God puts it on your heart to support this ministry and push it monetarily, so that we can get GodLogic full time, you know what I'm saying? No distractions, not slaving anywhere else, but all the attention is in the ministry, videos, live streams, all traveling, all kind of stuff. The Patreon is the way to do it, guys. I need 250 people to join the $20 tier, the $20 tier, or about 500 people to join the $10 tier. You can give how you want, but that's what I need for us to be able to be full time and be able to just go full hedge into this. Okay, so there's the Patreon link that's scrolling across the board. I appreciate all of you guys. We have Radar Apologetics who hopped in. He says the oral argument is so played out. Judaism and Islam both claim the same thing, which is interesting, guys. We're going to be hosting Radar Apologetics. He's going to be debating, I believe it's an Orthodox Jew, if I'm not mistaken. Radar, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's going to be debating a Jew on this channel on the 23rd. And yes, of course, DJ, come on up, man. Hold on, let me put the link back in there. You guys can come up today. Well, DJ, you don't ever have to ask, but you know. There you go.
GodLogic permission to come on up. Yeah, you guys can come on up.
Man, come on, man. Come on up.
Yeah,
so that'll be on the 23rd, guys. We'll be having Radar Apologetics on this channel debating. So that'll be fun. That's gonna be fun. I can't wait for that. But yeah, go ahead. Somebody was saying something.
Yeah, I have two questions, if that's all right. I don't want to cut you off guard. It's on the book of Genesis. I have a question about, like, was Adam and Eve the first humans, or were there humans before?
I hold the view that Adam was the first man, according to the scriptures.
Okay, but like, so when they had children and they had children, isn't that like incest? Don't they like die out?
Oh yeah, there had to be incest. There had to be, them populating and growing the world. So, yeah, they had to. The brothers and sisters had to get with each other.
Don't people die from that, like incest?
Nowadays, it gets sick. Nowadays, but before they didn't.
Yeah, I can help a bit with that actually. My undergrad was in genetics, so I can add. I agree with what GodLogic's saying. So again, mutation, like the only reason incest leads to diseases or lower lifespans or whatever is because of mutations. But early on, when God made Adam and Eve, they didn't have any mutations. So early on in human history, before these mutations, started to develop, there was not going to be an issue with these necessary cases of incest. because there was no impurity in the genetics that would make the people, live less long or have all these extra diseases or something. It's just over time when the mutations start to appear, that's when the incest becomes dangerous and deleterious.
Okay.
But that's a good question, Daniel. That's actually something I studied a bit in my undergrad. Good question.
Yeah. But what about Cain? His wife. Who did he marry?
Well, remember, if Adam lived almost 1,000 years, and so and most likely Eve as well, and they're having kids over this long period of time. That's a long time to be having kids, for them to grow up and populate and grow and migrate somewhere else and start little villages or whatever, like that's more than enough time to do that.
Okay, sure. My next question is, I think it's Deuteronomy. When Moses died, he's the writer of the book, right?
He's not the end of it. Not the end.
Who wrote the end of it?
I believe it's Joshua that wrote the end of Deuteronomy.
And how can we prove that?
Well, it's according to tradition. It goes with tradition that Joshua. That's majority say it was Joshua, according to the oral tradition and stuff like that.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, no problem. And with a question like that too, I think there's other people that can even answer it better than I. Like Radar Apologetics, he can answer that way better than I can. He goes into it. He's a rabbi, so yeah. If you ever check him out, check out Radar Apologetics and get on this channel and ask him to go. Like, he can probably get you in depth with that question on what to look at, the sources to pull up and stuff like that. He can hook you up.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. If that's we have the truth up here. How you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Al-Haq. Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Praise God. Praise God. What did you want to say today?
I wanted to ask about that like part of the Bible where Jesus like casts these demons into pigs, right? So I had this friend that said that like if Jesus is God and he's perfect, why did he cast out demons to to a herd of pigs that belong to people, I mean, those weren't his pigs, and he cast out demons to those pigs, and those pigs just like went crazy, and innocent people lost their pigs, something like that. He asked me that a while ago. I just wanted to ask, like, if that was like something right or wrong. I don't know, man.
Jesus being God, the pigs belong to him, do they not?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, everything is his. Secondly, where in the verse does it say that those pigs were a herd of people, like that belong to people? You don't get that in the verse. But even if they did, everything is God. It belongs to God. He can do what he wants. He can cast them wherever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's a silly question.
No, it's like I was debating this Muslim friend on Discord. He just suddenly asked me that. I wasn't thinking of that at the time.
A Muslim did that to you? A Muslim asked that question?
Yeah, I have this Muslim friend. We're still friends, right? Because we don't let our religions get in the way. We're studying the same school, but like we were debating months ago, like last year, I think. And he was just trying to find silly problems in Christianity and asking silly questions.
Of course.
Like, but he failed miserably though. I just couldn't answer that question, but the rest, yeah, he failed miserably. So yeah.
I mean, that is getting desperate, trying to criticize throwing the demons into the pigs. That is desperate.
Yeah.
Just like Shabibi Lewis, he was pretty desperate to kick you out of there.
Straight panic mode. Straight panic mode.
I was trying to go up in that room, and they wouldn't let me up. They kept letting up Muslims. I wanted to tell Shabibi and his minions to calm down, free the left shoulders.
No, but like honestly, to me, I think that Muslims that have like the biggest cognitive dissonance. Like their claims are very wild, and like until this day, I'll never understand. Like they talk about how the Bible, how Christianity has these logical contradictions, but they believe in the most, you know, fallacious thing ever. This thing of like all the prophets were Muslim, they were originally Muslim, and everything was corrupted, but they can't find any single piece of evidence that indicates that Jesus, Moses, or any of them were Muslims. We have no trace of Islam in Israel until the point of Muhammad. So the fact that they can't even prove that is crazy to me, and they still believe all of them are Muslims, yet they don't even have one piece of evidence.
Yeah, that's you don't get any more real than that, man. You don't get more real than that. And that's why these guys go into straight panic mode, like we saw today on the panel, like Shadid Lewis, as DJ is talking about. Straight panic mode.
Was that your first time talking to him, Avery?
No, I've spoken to him a few times. That was the first
like that.
All the time though. And actually, this was the first time. Like that's the most that I was able to speak while talking to him ever in my life. Talking to him. All the other times, it's you're constantly getting muted and yelled over. This time, I was actually able to get some words out. But we have a super chat. Let me yell this out real quick. We have, oh man, what's going on? Abbas, welcome.
Hiya.
We have Lila Man says Muslims are doing taqiyya on Muslims. Brothers, just one question. Where did Muhammad get all his information from? He talks about everything. Love from Sweden. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the generous gift. And I love the comment. That's a good question. He was getting around. He had Jews that recited stories and pagans recited stories. He had people who claimed to be Christians that sound like Gnostics that were telling them stuff. So yeah. How you doing, Abbas?
Yeah, I'm very well. How are you? Can you hear me all right?
Pretty good.
Sorry, it's pretty late here, so I can't be too loud.
What time is it for you?
Well, it's 1:30 in the morning.
1:30 in the morning. You decided to spend the late nights with your boy.
No, yeah. I was sleeping, then I woke up and I just saw you talking something about the Quran. So I thought I'll just call you. Just before that, I just wanted to do my friend just asking a question. Muslims believe all prophets were Muslims.
Yes.
Why, when we say they were Muslims, what we meant is they submit their will to God. What Muslim mean is the one who submit his will to God. So we believe all submit their will to God. That's what we meant.
But that's not really an answer to the question, because if you look at Islam, there are certain traditions and beliefs that make it distinct from Judaism and Christianity clearly. For example, you believe that your God's personal name was always Allah and not Yahweh, but you don't find any trace of that name in the whole of history of Israel. You make so many, and yeah, you do. And not only that, but and your defense is the Bible is corrupt and it's all been changed, but you can't prove that it's corrupt. You can't show the original Muslim scriptures that then was corrupted into the Bible. You can't. You just this thing of they submit to one God. Yeah, in Christianity we believe that the prophets submit to one God. But when you say they were Muslim, you're saying that they subscribe to the Muslim faith, to the Muslim traditions, and to the Muslim beliefs. Yet you don't find any trace of that. You don't find any trace of a God named Allah. You don't find any trace of any gospel that was given to Jesus that was Muslim. You don't find any Muslim scriptures in the history of Israel and back then. You just find the Torah and then the New Testament in the earlier times, but you don't find anything that points to Islam. That's my whole point. You don't find any historical evidence that points that Jesus was Muslim. You can't prove it. That's what I'm saying. You can't. So your answer is completely useless and it doesn't prove anything. That's my point. I want evidence.
Oh, wait, hang on, man. You are asking a lot of things, but you're not letting me speaking, and you're answering for myself as well. I mean, on my behalf. That's amazing.
No, I was just asking one question, but I was just giving you better descriptions of the question.
1 second. How do you say God? How do you say God in the Old Testament?
From what I know, we have God's personal name is Yahweh. Then there is
No. I asked you a
Elohim.
question. How you say God? God in Hebrew Old Testament.
In
We have. I think that people say. Honestly, I don't know too much about that. I think you say Elohim.
I'll tell you what you call. I'll tell you. It says Elah. Elah.
So?
And Aramaic say Eloah. Okay.
So?
And in Arabic we say Allah. You see the similarity
So your
there?
argument is because they sound the same. It's the same thing. Is that your argument?
Yeah, different languages.
That is a horrible. No. If that was the case, no, bro. Let me correct you.
Listen. By talking too much doesn't make you right. Yeah, let me speak as well. Okay.
I'm not saying that I'm talking too much. You're literally saying because they rhyme, they're the same thing.
Let me answer. You hear?
Okay, talk. Finish talking your foolish argument. Go.
You say we Muslims believe there's no Yahweh. Who told you we do not believe in Yahweh? Do you know what Yahweh actually means? Actually, in your whole Old Testament, the word Yahweh is not mentioned. It's tetragrammaton. Yud He Wah He. The word Yahweh is not mentioned in the Old Testament. Okay.
So you're talking about a pronunciation, Abbas. You know that's the word he's.
No, what I'm saying is the word Yahweh is not mentioned. It's tetragrammaton.
But it is.
Abbas, you're going to destroy yourself because there's something very interesting that I'm going to point out in your religion. Do you know that the names of your prophets, for example, you believe Elijah was your prophet, right?
It's not mentioned in the Quran.
So you don't believe in Elijah?
No,
you don't believe in Elijah?
We can't say for sure Elijah was the prophet or not. We're not denying it. We're not saying he was.
Do you know that the names of multiple prophets in Jewish tradition literally praise Yahweh if you actually translate their names?
Sorry?
If you go and see the names of your prophets, for example, there was this, you know, in your religion, you believe that John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist is in your religion, right? You believe that he existed, right?
Yeah.
So exactly, you know, there's I forgot what it meant, but Yahya meant something. Avery, can you help me, please? There was this thing that said Yahya meant Yahweh save, something like that. Is that correct? There was something I forgot.
It's Yahweh something. He's named after.
Okay,
Yahweh.
so right now here you go, Abbas. So for you, Yahweh is just like a you know, it's not something that is. From what you said, you don't believe in that name, right? You don't believe it's something.
I'm still standing by the point I make. The word Yahweh.
No, but can you just say yes or no? Is Yahweh? Answer my question. Is Yahweh? Do you guys believe in that name or not? Or is it like no? It's just an invention.
Yeah, I'm going to answer you. What you understand? What you say Yahweh? Yahweh means the living. Yes, Yahweh means the living. What in the Quran the living means? You say Al-Hayy. Al-Hayy means the living. The same word, but a different pronunciation. It says Al-Hayy is the word name of God. It's the attribute of God. Al-Hayy Al-Qayyum.
But
the ever living, the sustainer. So yes, we do believe in the same word the living. You say Yahweh, we say Al-Hayy. So yeah, we are not denying the word
but you don't understand my point. No, that's completely relevant. The point is Yahweh is God's personal name. We believe it's God's personal name. You don't, right? That's my point. The fact that he gave
it's not even about that. There's a fundamental problem that's being made here. It doesn't matter if a name is similar or if there's it rhymes or it sounds similar. That doesn't mean anything.
The meaning
y'all
is
exactly y'all in the Bible in the previous scriptures. Number one, like for example, has a son. Or the children of Israel are his children. Things like this. There are core characteristics that the Quran denies about Yah that they cannot be the same God. There's no way.
Yah is not the same God.
Exactly.
We
Abbas. Listen, that's not the point. The fact that he's a Jewish prophet.
Slow down. Let him respond.
Yeah, we deny, yes, the idea that the God is a father to anyone. Well, what we saying is in the old times, it's possible that a God let people that you are my children, but it's metaphorically speaking. People took it literally, especially Christians took it literally.
What Christians took it literally?
When the Prophet Muhammad came along and he says, no, this is wrong. God is
wait. What Christians what Christians took it literally?
Salam al-Masih to everybody on the stage that is an original Quran-only Christian.
Salam
al-Masih.
Jesus is taken as a literal son of God, isn't he?
So literal in meaning that God had sex with Mary and then birthed Jesus?
No. He's
So then what
begotten
do you
son. His begotten son. He's
do you mean
he's
literal
not
physically?
metaphorical. He's not metaphorical son of God, is he?
So when you say literal, because to be the literal son is to have sex, right?
No, not necessarily. No, I'm not saying that you guys believe that God had sex. No, what we're saying is that what begotten means.
Well,
It
okay,
comes
so that but
from God.
Abbas, so if you know that we don't mean that God had sex and then had a son, then you can't say that the Quran is talking about us, because the Quran thinks that we believe that God had sex and had a son. The Quran always goes against that idea.
No,
How
Quran
can he
never
have a
said
son
that.
if he has no wife?
No,
for
Quran
example?
never said that. No, Quran never
Yes,
said that.
like for example,
It does. It actually does.
the
Actually
Quran says,
does.
1 second. The Quran by refuting them when they say that Allah has children or has a son, the Quran refutes them in chapter 6 by saying, how can he have a son when he has no girlfriend, no wife?
No
Why
consort.
why is it making that statement if that's not what Allah thinks?
What verse are you quoting here? I need to
Chapter
look
6, I think
exactly
it's
what the
101.
course is saying.
I think it's 101.
Promise.
Chapter 6, verse 101. Let me double check.
Yeah, that's what it says, Avery.
Thanks.
Well, actually, you have dragged me in something. I came to talk about the Quran and the preservation of the Quran because the other gentleman was talking about it. So that's why I actually came.
Oh,
Now
bro, you don't want to. Nah,
you
bro,
dragged
that's
me
not a
into
good
something.
idea for you to go into the preservation of the Quran thing, bro. You're just gonna get like,
You
yeah,
start
bro.
from the name of God, then to something else and something else now.
No.
Well, so this all started with you was addressing his question about Muslims believing that all prophets are Muslim, and you're saying, well, yeah, because they all submitted to God, and so he's like, no, not your God. It's a different God. Not
what
Allah.
I was saying, yeah, the ideas in the middle is been changed, but the original idea was all prophets were they submit their will to God. They believe in the one God. They believe all the basic truths what God says, the commanded. But as the more we go into history, the more we advance, the religions has been changed. Like Muslims are different than the Jews.
Hold on.
But how did it change? When did they stop worshiping one God?
Truth.
No.
Stay focused on the main issue here. Let's not.
What
let's
I'm
not
saying
get
that.
Hey, Hussein.
Hey.
Let's not get off of it.
As we improve intellectually, and that the God's commands also improved as well, as the more we can take. So the Islam now is different than Islam at the time of Abraham or the time of Adam. So, but the original idea is the same. We all submit the will to the God, and we worship one God, and all the basic principles. We believe in the hereafter. We believe in the angels and his scriptures. So
who says that those are basic
Muslim
principles according to the prophets? Who says that you have to believe in angels in order to be considered a Muslim? Or that's a basic principle.
That's the reality. Angels do exist, and they are servants of God. We have to believe in that reality.
Okay. So, like, for example, if you take someone else who not quote unquote Muslim, but let's just say they believe in a God, right? They believe in a God, they believe in this God alone, and they also believe that he has angels, but they believe that he never sent prophets per se. But they submit to this God. They don't believe that he sent any prophets. Are they a Muslim
at the present time?
Yeah, are they a Muslim?
If
they have that belief.
Since the last prophet came, the will of God is to believe in the last prophet and the message he brought. So if you don't believe in his complete message, you're not Muslim.
Thank you.
Abbas, what about just before Muhammad? Let's say in the 400s.
Yes, I was going to go there. Before that, what was the last messenger? Jesus. He came. His message was, anyone following his message truly, they were Muslims. They were Muslims.
Yeah, I'm Muslim.
No, but you are not.
All
You're
right.
denying the will of God, which is present will of God. You're denying it. So you're not.
So the people who believed in Jesus between that time, that believed that he was the real Son of God, the divine Son of God who died for our sins and rose again on the third day, they were Muslims.
No.
Masha Yeshua.
We don't believe that was the message of Jesus. We have the message of Jesus in the Quran. We have his message of Jesus.
So Jesus in your religion. Sorry, speak. Sorry, I'm sorry. Speak.
Abbas, do you see how inconsistent this is?
No, it's not.
At first, by responding to truth, Abbas, you're saying all you need to do to be a Muslim, all you have to do is just submit to God. That's all it means. That's why all the prophets were Muslims. However, when we start going in deeper on okay, they submit to God, but yet they have a different.
You misheard me. I say submit to the will of God. That's what I said. Submit to the will.
Okay, so what if they are submitting to God and His will, and according to what they're preaching, that the will of God is to believe in the divine Messiah who dies for their sins and will raise again on the third day? That's the will of God. Will you affirm that or deny that? As a Muslim?
What I'm saying at the moment, there are Muslims and there are Muslims, and there are many Muslims who doing like grave worshipping. They're going to the graves and asking the saints. Yeah, we saying this is not the will of God. So you are not following Islam properly, even though you claim you are following Islam, but you are not. You're doing shirk basically. You're praising the saints. So what I'm saying in the Christians as well, they gone away from the will of God. They thought that was the will of God, but we as Muslims claim that was never the will of God. Jesus was never the Son of God. God's will was Jesus was a messenger of God. So whoever was worshiping Jesus was not really following the will of God.
Right. So Abbas, when we have the prophets literally calling the Messiah the Son of God, literally saying that He will die for our sins and then rise again, you're saying that will of God, according to the prophets, doesn't match the will of God that you see in the Quran, and therefore it cannot be the same will, and therefore it's a different God as what the truth was getting to ultimately.
Yeah, that's why we say. God. That's why we say your books have been corrupted. Your book has been distorted.
Corruption.
That's what we say.
Can I
objection, Your Honor? Yeah, you guys can jump in. I got to go get my chicken real quick. Okay. But yeah, be nice.
Go get your chicken.
Make sure you guys let him speak. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Abbas, hope you can hear me very well. I just have let me clarify what you guys are asking of us Christians to do. Let's take, for example,
really quick. Chris, you're in charge.
I got you, brother.
All right.
Okay. Let's take, for example, a new prophet comes now, or maybe in the 8th century, and said he's the last prophet. Muhammad did not say those things. The Quran is corrupt. He was the Quran, the original Quran mentioned him and his followers who have multiple women, and in their heaven they'll have multiple sex partners, and they should go ahead and kill Muslims. Any Muslim that they find, they should force them to pay jizya or kill them, or they convert to their religion. If not, the Muslims are to be subdued and made like second-class citizens. The same way Muslims treat Christians and other religions in Muslim majority countries. This is what Muslims are asking Christians to believe. So Abbas, would you believe that prophet who came in the 8th century?
I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, to be fair, we have to evaluate him. First of all, I will reject him because it goes against my belief, obviously.
Thank you. That's what we did, Muhammad. Thank you very much.
But still, I will still evaluate him, his claims as well.
Yeah, we have evaluated Muhammad. He got married to a 6-year-old. He brought another God that the heaven he preached about. We don't know that heaven. Everything Muhammad comes with.
What did you just say? 6 years old? You said 6 years old?
Yeah, he got married to Aisha when she was 6.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, I may disappoint you that I don't believe that's true. That those hadiths have hidden defects in them. Yeah,
I have 13. I have 13 of those hadiths. They're all Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. I have 13 of them that say she's either 6 or 7 years old. All of them say that she had sex when she was 9 years old. Are all of them problematic?
When you say they're 13, actually they are repetitions.
No, they're not. They're not. Some of them say that her hair fell out. Some of them say that she had dolls that she took to Muhammad's house. Some of them say she was 7. Some say that she was 6, except for the sex was always 9 years old. You know.
Yeah, you know the isnad. you know, isnad are the same isnad. Aisha, Urwa, Hisham. Aisha, Urwa, Hisham. Aisha, Urwa, Hisham. So it's not mutawatir hadith. It's akhbar ahad.
You know that in all of them, and almost all of them, the isnad goes back to Aisha, Urwa, and Hisham. You know,
That's right.
that's her cousin, and her uncle, a nephew, excuse me. And they all knew her personally. They heard her say that, you know, Muhammad married her when she was 6, that her hair fell out because she was so terrified when he took her to his house when she was 9 years old, and they had sex when she was 9. The time of the sex is consistent. It's always 9 years old that he had. He was 54, she was 9 when he jumped on her.
I tell you what the hidden defects are. Actually, hidden defects I'll explain to you. What happened is actually nephew and the great nephew. I mean nephew's son, Hisham. Now the Hisham, he lived in Medina for 70 years and he was a teacher. And then last 10 years he lived in Kufa or Baghdad. But none of his students from Medina ever quote this hadith. And one of his students was a great scholar called Imam Malik. He wrote Muwatta Malik. He never quoted this hadith. Why all his students from Baghdad or Kufa are quoting this hadith? They say because his memory faded in the last years of his life. Memory faded and he made a mistake. Instead of saying Sittatul Ashar, he just says Sitta. He said instead of saying Tisatul Ashar, he said Tisa. He missed out Ashar. That is what they say. His students, none of them quote from Medina.
Hey, boss.
And this is akhbari ahad.
But you know what?
Just a second here, guys. Hey, boss, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So according to your Sharia,
yes,
women can be married at 6 and consummated at 9 because of Muhammad and Aisha. So are you telling me the Sharia is wrong as well?
Well, that's unfortunate, and yes, they made a mistake of that. They thought this hadith, they couldn't deny the hadith. Yes, so I would say they were wrong.
So everybody, the Islamic scholars that give us the jurisprudence when it comes to Sharia, and generally, I would assume, and it's probably an under guess here, but I would say roughly about 90% of Sunni scholars, which is probably about 99 or 100%, would affirm that Aisha was 6 years old when she married the Prophet and 9 years old when she consummated the marriage with the Prophet. So I guess my question just would be to you, Abbas, why would we believe you over the Islamic scholars and Sharia?
Yeah, first of all, I'm answerable to whatever I believe to my God. I'm answerable on my position, whatever I understood of Islam. Secondly, am I allowed to disagree with scholars? Yes, according to Islam, yes, because Quran give me this authority. Quran says, "Atiullah wa atiur Rasul wa ulil amri minkum fa in tanazatum farudduhu ilallahi wa rasulih." Believe, obey Allah, obey the Messenger, and the leaders among yourself. But if you disagree among yourself, come back to Allah and His Messenger. So yes,
you know what though? But
I'm allowed to disagree with the scholars.
You know what the Quran says, that you are not tislim tasliman, the perfect surrender, until you make the Prophet. You know, you have no resistance in yourself to what the Prophet says. And you know there's 6 books. There's what's called the Sitta. Sitta, it means the 6. There's 6 books of hadith that are the most respectable. Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Ibn Majah, Ibn Abi Dawood, and 5 of those say Aisha was either 6 or 7. 5 of those, 5 of the 6. The only one that doesn't say it is a Tirmidhi. Is the only one that doesn't say that. 5 of the 6 say she was either 6 or 7, and all of them agree she was 9 when he jumped on her. And but the thing you said about her being 18, 19, you're almost right about that. But the only thing is you put it at the wrong in the wrong point in her life. She was 18 when Muhammad died. She had lived with him 9 years, very clearly, repeated many times. And after the 9 years, she was 18, meaning she moved in when she was 9, lived 9 years with him. And when she was 18, he died. That's what it says over and over again.
Brother, actually, I didn't mention the word 18. I didn't mention the age 18 or 19.
You
You
said
mentioned
you said he was 10 years off. Didn't you say that he was 10 years off because he lost his mind or something?
No. I say the scholars say it says he probably dropped that. I say probably. Yeah, I don't know what age she was. Yeah, this is one of these scholars say this could be the reason because of his memory. But you made a lot of points. What I was going to say, yes, when you say 5 books mentioned, you know this is a repetition. They are saying the same hadith
But they're not
every
saying the same. But they're not saying the same thing.
when
Each
they
one
say
of them is different. One of them says that she brought her dolls. One of them says that she lost her hair. One of them says she was on the swing and then her mother came and put water on her face. Another one says she was with the women of the Ansar. Another one says that she went into Muhammad's house. You know, none of them are the same. They all say something different.
Okay, yeah. Now what I'm saying this the isnad, the chain is the same. The same chain we call akhbar ahad. Gharib akhbar ahad. It's not mutawatir hadith. And the scholars did say the akhbar ahad we have to critically analyze it. What I'm saying is the very first scholar of a hadith, Imam Malik, who was a student of Hisham, why he missed out that hadith from Hisham? Why? And he is the one who lived in Medina. He know the people of Medina. Why he didn't mention anything about the age of Aisha? That's the question we need to ask. So there are many reasons why people of Kufa, Baghdad, Iraq, they spread this thing that Hisham said that. Did Hisham really said that? Did Urwa really said that? Did Aisha really said that? How we know people of Baghdad and Iraq is saying that?
To
So
be
there are
honest, Abbas, it just sounds like you're kind of picking and choosing based on what you like and what sounds good. It sounds very preferential and just your own opinion.
What I'm saying, my brother, the Bukhari and Muslim, even they are contradictory as well. There are I can show you the ahadith in
Oh, I
Bukhari.
agree, but that doesn't help your position.
So we are taking hadith as a word of God. That's where we're making a mistake, and people have done these mistakes over the centuries. So it's time we need to critically analyze those ahadith. And the first muhaddis have done that. Bukhari and Muslim done that. They critically analyze things. This is their method. So why we have to stop right now? We have to carry on critically analyzing.
I don't think the scholars actually disagree about this whole child marriage issue. When you got the Quran agreeing and the Hadiths agreeing about the child marriage issue and current like Sharia law, like Islam Q&A, they agree with child marriage.
Why you say Quran?
But unless you're specifically talking about Aisha.
Quran
Sure it does.
Quran doesn't. No.
Do you want to go through the verses?
Absolutely. Please show
Unless,
me where the Quran
Chris
says you can marry a child.
Unless Chris, you had another issue to bring up. Did you have another issue to bring up, Chris, or shall we go?
No, brother. I'm just controlling the chat right now. Anybody can speak.
Yeah, I want you to show me where the Quran says you can marry a child. Quran didn't.
Oh,
it's
man.
only.
You there, DJ?
Do you ever read Surah At-Talaq, verse 4?
But before that, though, Steve, wouldn't you go to Surah 33?
Yeah, verse 49.
I'm pretty sure in Surah 33, verse 49, it says that if a believing woman marries a believing man, but the believing man does not consummate the marriage, then there is no iddah. There is no waiting period. But if we go to 65:4 now and we realize that if there is no consummation, there is no iddah. So if there's no hiddah, there's no iddah, right? So let's go to 65:4. And in 65:4, I think, Abbas, you would agree that there's 3 classifications of women. The ones that don't have their menstruation because of their age, the ones that don't have their menstruation because they're young age, and the ones that are pregnant, so they don't have menstruation because they're pregnant. All 3 of these categories receive an iddah, which means that the marriage was consummated. Correct, Abbas?
Wrong. When you say they didn't have menstruation because of their young age, where you get the idea young age from?
I'm getting it from your tafsir.
Okay, exactly. Not the Quran.
I mean, do you mind if we read 33:49? Do you mind if I read it real quick?
No, I get the idea. 33:49 idea, the idea. I get it.
But I mean, it doesn't refute our point when you say that the scholars, the top scholars, who is Ibn Abbas? Wasn't he called like the Ink of the Ummah or something like that?
Okay.
It's Muhammad's cousin too.
Yes.
And so, are you better than him, or who are you to say?
Of course not. Nowhere near.
And so, if Ibn Abbas is agreeing with the Quran, and you are disagreeing with what he says and with what basically the Quran is saying,
okay.
who am I supposed to trust? These trusted scholars, the closest to the Prophet, or you?
Are you talking about his tafsir, Ibn Abbas tafsir?
No, I mean, this is why I want to go over the Quran verse actually.
No, you're talking about the tafsir of
Yeah,
Ibn
so
Abbas.
Abbas,
Can I read
Tafsir
it?
of Ibn Abbas is
So-
not authentic. You know that.
Abbas, just a second here.
It's not original.
So Abbas, just a second here. In Surah 65:4,
Yes.
the women who have not menstruated, can you give me those three categories of women, please?
First of all, I want to point out the word nisa, very much important point. The word nisa means women and not child. Because when you say...
Just a second, though.
When
Just
you
a
say-
second, Abbas. Let's be honest. Hey, Steve, doesn't that word actually mean womankind?
It's used. It's used. You know, the way I've heard it, it has been used for women and for female.
You heard or you read?
And that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. That's the way I've heard.
That's not
I've
good
heard the
enough.
word used. I've
Well,
heard the
no,
word
I
used
tell
like
you,
that.
I tell you what is womankind in Arabic. It's unsa.
So yes, you can use the word that's used in 65:4 for women that are not yet menstruated.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. First of all, it says women, and it doesn't say like tifl as a child or sabbi as a young girl.
It doesn't
or-
say ones that have some type of medical condition either.
Thank you very much. That's what it is. I'll tell you why.
But the Quran doesn't say that, Abbas.
No. One
You
second.
keep telling us that we can't put young girls in this verse, then you can't put the girls that have medical conditions in this verse because the verse doesn't say that.
No,
But the
because it says
tafsir,
women. Because it says-
of this verse, though, actually agrees with us and not you, weirdly enough, right?
Let me answer you. Because the word say women, not children, women. So which kind of a women does not have yet periods? Which kind of a women? There are women who have medical conditions, obviously, which we call amenorrhea.
Is that what the tafsir would explain as well, Abbas?
No, because tafsir writers, they didn't know the science at that time, which Allah knows, they didn't know that.
But wouldn't they have known what Muhammad would have told them, though?
Look, they were great scholars of the time. I forgot the name. Ghazali. He, in his Kimya Sadat, he wrote, this sun is 100 times bigger than the earth. 100 times.
No,
But
Abbas, can we just
now
get...
know sun is 1.3 million
Abbas.
times bigger than the earth.
They don't seem that
he
great
was
of scholars if you
how-
disagree with them.
Sorry?
Abbas, can you just stop going off on tangents about things that we're not speaking
I'm telling
about?
you how little about science they knew.
No, because I'm sick of Muslims coming on live streams on YouTube and throwing all of everything under the bus and then thinking that they're their own scholars in Islam. You are not a Muslim if you are denying all the tafsir of the Quran.
I can give you an example of the scholars on one side, and I'm on one side, and you will agree with me if I give you an example right now. All Tabari, Qurtubi on one side, I'm on one side, and you will say, Abbas, you're right. You want me to show you? Do you want me to prove it to you? Because what I'm saying is, it says women who has not yet menstruated. It means those women who has medical condition called amenorrhea. We know now.
والتي لن يحدن. Where does it say women? Where does it say nisa?
Look.
Where in the verse? Because it doesn't say that right before the part about not menstruating. It says والتي لا يحدن. I mean, that those who have not yet menstruated. It doesn't say in nisa اللي لا يحدن. It says those who have not yet menstruated. التي لن يحدن.
I'm telling you, because the verse is starting from talking about nisa. Yeah, it says, and those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, their period is 3 months.
But it doesn't say that. It says that in English, but in Arabic it says التي لا يحدن. That means those who have not yet menstruated.
because
it doesn't say yet. It says those who have not menstruated is what it doesn't say of your women. It says that in the English translation. But that's not what the Quran is in Arabic. In Arabic it says "Allati la yahidn."
And the word is nisa. It's talking about nisa.
It doesn't say nisa right there. It says "Allati la yahidn." Those who have not yet menstruated. Does it say, do you read the Arabic? Read the Arabic. The Arabic. Could you read the Arabic?
Okay, 1 second. So it says, and for those who are not pregnant, who are those? And those who are pregnant. It's talking about the women, aren't they? It's talking about women.
I know, but does it use the word nisa in that verse? I mean, you're the one who said it does.
Because it's used once, and then it's talking about the categories. It's talking about 3 categories. Those women who don't menstruate anymore, and those who have not menstruated yet, and those who are pregnant. It's talking about the women. It's the same thing. It's talking about women. It doesn't have to mention
No. But it doesn't say the word nisa. I mean, where in the verse does it say nisa? I don't have my Quran with me right now. I'll get it in a minute. But
I can read it for you. It says,
okay, in Arabic.
Yeah. وَأَلَّيْ يَئِسْنَ مِنَ الْمُهِيدِ مِنْ نِسَائِكُمْ إِنْ أَرْتَبْتُمْ. You got it? نِسَائِكُمْ.
Okay, that's talking about those who have who no longer menstruate of your women. Those who no longer menstruate. That's what it says. Meaning they're menopausal. You know.
Yeah, that's right. And then it's carry on saying, and those who have not menstruated yet, and
okay, but there it doesn't say women. It just says, and those who've not yet who've not yet menstruated. It doesn't use the word nisa there.
That's what I'm trying to say. It says nisa once, and then it's mentioned 3 categories: those who are because of the old age, and those who have not menstruated yet, and those who are pregnant. So if you say pregnant is not talking about women, then women are not pregnant. I mean, who are pregnant? It's talking about nisa once, and it mentions 3 categories. So what I'm saying is this was not talking about children at all. I know Mufassir, they wrote it, they didn't understand this thing because this is so not common. It's very uncommon, but it exists. We know it exists.
What is uncommon? What is uncommon?
Amenorrhea. This medical condition among women. It's very, very little, very rare, but it does exist, and our Creator knew that. That's why He mentioned this in the Quran. It has nothing to do with children. Mufassir has made blunder on that. They make blunder on that because the word is the clue is nisa, and nisa means women.
You're adding your own tafsir to this. I mean, this is kind of amazing. I don't see this anywhere in the Quran. The Quran, the people at that time wouldn't be talking about this type of thing, and they're talking about the general thing, and that's why Sunni Islam and even Shia, like they use what's her name as an example of 9-year-old to get married at 6. Aisha, get married at 6, and then consummate the marriage at 9.
Yeah,
well, and that's why these tafsirs. It's amazing you throw these tafsirs and scholars under the bus, because I wish my brother Scott was here, but I don't know why any Muslim would be throwing their own scholars under the bus. The only person that should be doing that is me, a Christian. I should be throwing them under the bus.
Scholars are not inspired by God. Scholars have their opinions, and sometimes their opinions are wrong. Yeah, so they are not like prophet. They are not protected by God. As I said to you earlier, I can give you an example of those chapter, the verse where all scholars say one thing apart from Ibn Kathir. Everybody say one thing, and I'll disagree with them, and you will agree with me if I give you the example. Which proof? What that proof? Scholars are human beings, and they can make mistake. Imam Malik himself said that you can disagree with anyone apart from the pointing at the grave of the prophet, apart from the man of this grave. Meaning, scholars can make mistake, and I am my hujjah. My scholars are not my hujjah, my brother. So what I say, I follow what the Quran saying, the wordings of the Quran, how the words are, and then I analyze, and then I see myself what to believe or what not to believe. So what I'm saying, the word nisa means women. It doesn't mean child. So whoever says, tafsir says they are wrong, and that's why the modern day scholar Maududi did mention in his tafsir. He could be 2 reasons. Could be of young age, could be the women with medical condition. Because he's a modern day scholar, so he knows these conditions exist. That's why Maududi mentioned that.
So it says it could be both. So he's not denying that it's possibly for the. So you're even putting a tafsir on Maududi. So it could be both. So he's not denying that you could still marry kids.
Yeah, I'm saying that because Maududi was in that position, if he would have denied old scholars, people would have just reject him altogether. This is how our psyche is. You can't just openly deny scholars. Otherwise, nobody will follow you. Nobody will think of you. Actually, many people rejected him because of his ideas. Many people in Pakistan, Barelvi and Deobandi, Hanafis, they don't like him because the guy has his own little ideas. He was not from any sect. He didn't follow in sects. So what I'm saying that's why he kept that thing in there in the respect
But
of
even if
those.
Maududi, coming many years later, how long did Maududi come from?
Maududi died in 1990s.
In the 1990s. Wow. So how many?
Yeah.
Thousands? 1,000 years? More than 1,000 years after Muhammad?
Yes.
And his closest companion?
Yes.
Ibn Abbas? Isn't he called the ink of the Ummah?
He does.
He
But I'm
agrees
saying
with
that
our
his
position,
tafsir,
and you want to throw him under the bus?
No. His tafsir has revision. His tafsir have been revised many times. It's not his original tafsir, and the scholars are saying that this is not Ibn Abbas' original tafsir. It's not. Actually, he never wrote a tafsir. His tafsir was compiled by people, whatever his sayings were, they thought that was his sayings, they compiled it as his tafsir. Ibn Abbas never wrote a tafsir. So this is.
So even the tafsirs are unreliable. How do we know? How do we know we can trust any tafsir?
Well, actually,
if you're just going to throw that under the bus as well.
No, my brother, what I'm saying is my hujjah is Quran and Sunnah. The scholars are not. So we have to critically analyze them. I'm telling you, the Quran is talking about nisa, not children, not tifl, not what is another word? Another word for what's the name for a girl? My Arabic brother will tell me. But
the another word is like the rewards that Muslim men are going to get in heaven. The word that they use there, and it's not nisa, it's qasirat al-taraf, which means little girls. Qasirat means little young girls. Those are the girls that you guys are going to get in heaven. In Arabic, it's qasirat al-taraf, meaning you're going to get these little girls in paradise. So that is a different word. That means like children, little children, girls.
What are you quoting?
You knew that, right? Qasirat al-taraf. Huh?
What are you quoting?
This is Qasirat al-Taraf. It's used several times in the Quran about the women that you're going to get in Al-Jannah. You've heard that before, right?
No, show me the chapter and verse. No, I'm not Hafiz of Quran. Show me chapter and verse.
The word qasir means child. And so in paradise, Muslim men are going to be getting Qasirat al-Taraf, these little girls.
No, I heard the Quran actually says that you get the women who of your equal age.
Well, the word qasira means child. That qasir means child. So that's another word. You were asking me about different words for little child. One of the famous words for children is qasir. And it says that the girls that you're going to get in heaven are qasirat al-taraf. So anyway, sorry. Change the subject.
No, I respect what you're saying, but I need to see the evidence.
Okay,
I need to see the evidence because I know Quran says you will get spouses of your equal age.
No.
So that doesn't make sense. If you're equal age or they are children and you're adult, it doesn't make any sense. That will be a contradiction.
That's in Surah 38, verse 52. And then it's also in Surah 37, 48. Qasirat, the word qasir, it's even in the Bible. They use it in the Bible in Galatians chapter 4. It says, when we were children. The word there is qasir. And here it's used about girls, the houris that you're going to be getting. And they're called وَعِنْدْهُمْ قَاسِرَاتٌ. عِنْدْهُمْ means with them will be the qasirat, the little girls. Okay. So this is, and it's also in Surah 55, verse 56.
Okay, in my translation, it says companion of modest gaze.
Yeah. Well, that's English. I'm talking about the original Arabic. The word qasir in Arabic means child. And there's 3 times in the Quran it says qasirat al-taraf, which means little girls.
No. Can you read the whole verse and translate it for me, please?
Sure. Okay. وَعِنْدْهُمْ قَاسِرَاتِ الطَّرَفِ. Okay. With them are these young girls. Okay. And then in Surah As-Sifat 37,
no, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. And it says with them will be women limiting glances and of equal age.
Okay, that's not what it says in
No,
Arabic.
why you miss out the equal age thing?
Of course, the English is going to pervert it, change
So
it,
equal age
because
doesn't say
this
that.
is so embarrassing.
So it
But
doesn't say equal age.
oh no, it says kasira. Like I told you, the word kasir. And you guys, please stop me if I'm talking too much.
No, it's fine.
The word kasir in Arabic means child. It's used in the Bible, Galatians chapter 4. "Lamma kunna qasirin," when we were little children. It says we were under the tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. The word there is kasir, which means children. Here, it's talking about the men in the Muslim men in Jannah. And it says, "Indhum qasirat al-taraf," meaning that they're going to be getting these little girls in paradise. So, and it's three times. It's in 55, 56, 37, 48, 38, 52. Now, when they translate it into English, of course they're going to change it. This is so embarrassing, but that's what it says in Arabic.
Well, I got Lane's lexicon here, and I'm looking if it's a child, and it's not saying anything child. He says he fell or stopped short of doing the thing. He says he had little, no power. He's not saying child at all. He said too short for him.
For the word kasira?
Kasar.
No. Kasir is different. I'm talking kasirat.
Because the root word comes from.
Kasir is different. Kasir means just being short. You know.
Yeah, the root word is kasar, isn't it? Kasirat is the root word is kasar.
Yes, but the word kasira means little girl.
Sorry, you need to know. I'm sorry. I know you're saying that neither translation is saying that, neither lexicon says that. I need to see some proof. I know my friend, it's your word. I need to see some proof. Show me some Arabic lexicon or something like that. It says that.
What about Sagira? Abbas.
Yes, Sagar. Yeah, Sagar can be says somebody
okay, cool.
young age.
Let's go with it then. Okay. So there is a hadith from Ubay bin Ka'b. By the way, salam al-masih to have all my brothers and sisters. As-salam ala man ittaba al-huda to all the Muslims and the all the other non-Muslims. So there's
Salam
a hadith.
al-Masih, my Quran only Christian brother.
Hey brother, how you doing?
Good.
There's a hadith from Ubay bin Ka'b. You can find that in Tafsir Ibn Kathir, and also by Wahidi, Asbab al-Nuzul, that Ubay bin Ka'b comes to Muhammad saying, "O Prophet of Allah," when there's a verse in the Surah Al-Baqarah about the Idda period being 3 months, 4 months. So he says, you forgot about a certain, type of woman. And then Muhammad asks, what are these women? And he says, Sagira, these young girls. And then, according to the Asbab al-Nuzul, which is the reason for the revelation, for this Surah Al-Talaq 65, which is 65:4, Muhammad, it says that this ayah was revealed that what brother Hussein was talking about, 65:4. So the word here is used Sagira. You cannot run from this, Abbas, because Sagira, you already acknowledged that this is little girls. And then, would you agree with that? Before I go to another point.
Well, let me introduce you myself. I believe in Quran and Sunnah and Mutawatir Hadith. So
don't run then. Don't say that now you don't believe in the Hadith, bro. Come on.
No, I say I believe. I say Mutawatir Hadith first of all, and then Sahih Hadith. But if you bring to me Isbab al-Nuzul or Ibn Kathir, then I will say I'm sorry.
Why?
At least you show me
this
minimum.
This is
show me
this is a hadith from Ubay ibn Ka'b. It does not matter. It does not matter Asbab al-Nuzul quoting the hadith from Ubay ibn Ka'b. This is coming from Ubay ibn Ka'b. And you can see I can give you the isnat of the hadith as well.
Okay, I want you to show me at least the Sahih Hadith. Then we talk about it. Anything less than that, I will not talk about.
Hold on. So this is let me give you the people's name. Of course, you know the Abu Ishaq al-Mughira, right? Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Hamdun, Maki ibn Abdan, and then Asbat ibn Muhammad, and then Abu Uthman, Amir ibn Salim. So these are the people who are quoting, this is the chain for you. mentioning this hadith in Wahidi.
No, brother,
So,
Wahidi is a book of history. Yeah, I want you to
yeah,
show me.
but still, there is a point. There is a point that backing up the story here for 65:4, which my brother Hussein already lexiconically, or like in the terms of the language, he already explained to you what it means, right? So you cannot run from this. The word
No.
saghira, right, is not it's not talking about the like fully blown up like mature woman. It's talking
Look,
about the little girls.
tell me what Nisa means.
Nisa means womankind, woman, all of this.
No, it doesn't say womankind. That's unsa.
No, you can use that.
Womankind is unsa.
Right. You can use that for woman. Yeah, let's go with woman.
Woman.
So
So
is the young girls not type of the woman?
no, in Islam, minimum, if you want to call woman, at least she reached the age of puberty. At least.
Right.
At least. Yes?
Where does it say that?
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
The women before that, they are child. They are child.
Where does it say that?
Okay, I'll show you in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, I think in the beginning.
By the way, I'm showing you. Okay, now I know this is very weak. I hate to use Google Translate, but Google Translate translates Cussed as minor. Okay, so here I'm just showing it to you here.
And also one point I want to make sure that lexiconically, like like if you use the language, if you say your household, specifically your woman, that includes, if I say, Abbas, invite all your women to my house as a guest, right? Would that include your woman children, woman girls, woman babies as well? Because I'm including them, because the word here, if you read it, it says min nisaikum, okay? It's from your woman. It's not saying like specifically the woman. It's saying from your woman, min nisaikum, okay? So that includes all of the women that gives the category. So you cannot run from this, Abbas. Lexiconically as well.
The Quran has used the word for child, isn't it? Quran used the word for the female child. Is used.
Qasira.
No.
Yes.
No. I think when it what's the name of another one? But look, I'm not I'm an Arab, but I think I'm talking about Maryam. Used for Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam.
No, they charge fees.
I forgot, but Quran does use the word. But before that, I'll show you something in Surah Nisa. I want to quote.
Same with PayPal. Same with Venmo. Yeah, that's all that.
I should
I want to let you get it right there.
You know,
Avery, you got a hot mic.
If I could just show you a verse in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, here, look at the way, look what it says in Arabic. It says, وَإِنْ خُفْتُمْ لَا تُقْسِطُوا فِي الْيَتَامَى فَإِنكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّن النِّسَاءِ. It says, so if you fear you'll not deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry those that please you of the women. And so, here it's girls and women are synonymous in this verse, and they translate it girls. Okay, this is how they translate it. Yetama, meaning the orphan girls, and then it says mintaba, then marry them, mathna thalatha arba. And so, here nisa and yetama, which means orphan girls, are synonymous in verse 3 of the Quran.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I'm going to go to verse 3. That's where I was going to go. It says, please you of the women, actually. No. I'm going to show you another verse. Let me make my point first. Where's the verse gone? In Surah Nisa, where it's talking about the age of marriage. Yes, verse 6. Verse 6, if you read what it says, and test the orphans until they reach marriage. Then, if you perceive in them sound judgment, release their property.
Yes, it's about the
Quran
property. It's not about marrying.
There is an age of marriage until they reach the age of marriage, until they reach marriage. Verse 6. What that telling you?
Age 6, that's right, yeah. It is age 6.
No, under the sound age as well. No. Balugh. What balugh means? What balaghu means?
Yeah, balagh means like someone who's well developed. But the point is, Abbas,
Balaghun nikah. What that means?
because that verse it's talking about the yatim. What is the yatim?
Orphans.
Orphans. Yes. So
You're
it's
talking about
applicable
orphans.
to only to yatim girls who are orphans, and because they are vulnerable in the society, because people could use their money, their property after the death of their parents. That's why it says you have to keep them, you have to keep checking them, you have to keep observing them, you have to keep doing all these things until they age with the balagha, right? So
They reach the age of marriage. Balaghun
right.
nikah.
Yes. The reason is because it will be transferred back to them. Okay. It's talking about the mulk, their what is it? Their property. Okay. So it's not talking
No.
about the marriage here.
I know, but
So
he's talking about
specifically
a certain
their
age. He's talking
property.
about a certain age. Balaghun nikah. That means in Islam, there's a certain age of marriage.
Yes, because this verse is about the property, bro.
Brother,
And
it's talking
also,
about
before
Balaghun
I have to
nikah.
run off. I have to run off because I gotta do something. GodLogic, thank you, bringing me up, bro. Let me. I actually wanted to come up for the hadith that you guys were talking about. My brother Hussein told you about the Aisha's age. So this is coming from Sahih Bukhari 2661. You remember when there was Aisha was when Aisha was accused of adultery? You remember that story? You remember that story?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. So what happens is this hadith that I'm gonna put it in the chat. I don't know if anybody can see it. Is it possible any of my brothers can put it in the chat as well for others? Oh man, I don't have 2661. 1 second.
I can. If you put it in the private chat, I'll be able to put it in the regular comments.
Okay. Oh man, it looks like I deleted that. So it's Sahih Bukhari 2661. You can look it up. But I'm gonna read one part in it. Okay. So when Aisha was accused and almost got divorced by Muhammad, and they had to call accompanying slave girl who was with Aisha, who was elderly than Aisha. Okay, her age was older. So Burair was the slave girl that accompanied Aisha. Okay, this is the testimony of Aisha. I mean the Burair about Aisha. Okay, this is her testimony. On that, Allah's Messenger called Barira. Sorry, I thought it was Barira. Barira, did you ever see anything which rose your suspicions about her? Meaning about Aisha, okay? Barira says, pay attention what she says. No, by Allah who has sent you with the truth, I have never seen in her anything faulty except that she is a girl of immature age. Pay attention. What kind of girl she is? She's a girl of immature age who sometimes sleeps and leaves the dough for the goats to eat. On that day, Allah's Messenger ascended to the pulpit and requested that somebody support him in punishing Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. Okay? So here, by the testimony of the slave woman who accompanied Aisha, Aisha by then was already married off, many months has passed, many years has passed, but still Barira, the slave woman, is testifying that she is the age of immature age. That's why you cannot blame her for these things, okay? So,
Brother, I can answer you that. Do you know there is another Turk of this same hadith?
Okay.
Do you know
What does it say?
in the other Turk it doesn't mention anything about her that she is a woman of a girl of young age.
But
Do you know that?
this one, the one I'm bringing you to is a Sahih, bro.
Yeah,
Abbas.
no, that's
you
also
cannot
Sahih.
deny this one. If
That's
a
also
hadith,
Sahih.
hold on, Abbas. If a hadith omits certain information and both are considered hadith, you always take the one with the full length information, okay? So this one gives more information than the one that you're talking about, okay? So this one actually specifies the certain conditions of Aisha when she was accused of being adulterous woman, okay? So here, she's called an immature girl.
No, brother,
So
I disagree with you because the Ravi is different in the middle. There's a Ravi is different Ravi. That's
how do
why
you?
the
Okay,
hadith is different.
who's the Ravi? Who's the Ravi?
I checked into it, but if you're putting on a
Who's the
the
Ravi?
spot,
Tell me.
Give me the hadith again, number again. I'll tell you what was the problem here.
2661. I already give you.
Is that Muslim or Bukhari?
No, this is Bukhari. This is Bukhari.
2661.
Okay, because I have
Salam alaikum again to everybody.
Brother, God bless you. Kiss class.
Because I have another one from Bukhari who has a similar story, and it also says young girl.
I'll give you in a minute. I'll give you the other hadith. Just give me a minute. You can speak. Just give me a minute. Just a minute.
Okay. This is Sahih
So how's your
Bukhari
stuff for
26.
GodLogic?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I'm just bugging. He just said that we could talk. I was just throwing out just random conversations.
Uh-oh.
But go ahead. Sorry, DJ, for jumping in there.
Oh, no problem. This is Sahih Bukhari narrated. Urwa bin Umasaib, Alkama bin Waqas, and that's a lot of Arabic names. About the story of Aisha and their nation, and their narrations were similar, attesting each other. When the liars said what they invented about Aisha and the divine inspiration was delayed, Allah's messenger sent for Ali and Usama to consult them in divorcing his wife, i.e. Aisha. Usama said, "Keep your wife, as we know nothing about her except good." Bariah said, "I cannot accuse her of any defect except that she is still a young girl who sleeps, neglecting her family's dough, which the domestics come to eat, i.e. she was too simple-minded to deceive her husband." Yikes. Allah's messenger said, "Who can help me take revenge over the man who has harmed me by defaming the reputation of my family? By Allah, I have not known about my family anything except good." And then, yeah.
Yeah, she was a Saghira. Thank you bringing this up, Brother DJ.
Yes.
And I'm waiting from Abbas to bring her
I posted in the
that
chat
he's
as
talking
well.
about.
Yes. The person who's in the hadith chain is Shihab az-Zuhri, who is a mudallis and a mudarrij. He's in that chain which you mentioned about the young age. And I want to give you the other one which doesn't say about the young age, is another turuq which is different. But you understand, Shihab az-Zuhri, he's a mudarrij and a mudallis. He's in that
Yeah,
chain.
can you put that in the chat so we can see it?
Who was that?
The
The
one
other
that
hadith?
Shahab is Mudaris, the one that you were talking about.
Shihab
Can you give that
az-Zuhri,
one to?
look
Yeah,
for
Shahab az-Zuhri.
yourself. Look for yourself.
No, give it to me, bro, because
Wait, what?
I wanna see it.
Bro, Al Masih, he put in the chat, and then I also put mine in the chat. You could put yours too.
What are you talking about?
Yo, you make your own tafsirs. Now you're just making up your own hadiths. Come on, man. Gotta put it in the chat.
And we don't you don't have to supply evidence when you make a claim, guys. Come on now, what are you talking about?
Listen, do I have all the evidence with me right now?
No, you said you would check it and you would
I
give it
can't
to
provide
us.
you evidence.
That's what you said.
Meanwhile, just put in your Wikipedia Shihab az-Zuhri and see what the scholars say about him. Look what Imam Shafi said about
put
him.
Chris Kloss's name on the Wikipedia, and you will see what Sahih Bukhari, the Bukhari tells about Chris Kloss. Okay?
You
That's
will
not
get all
point,
the
bro.
references. You will get all the references which book Imam Shafi said about him. He's Mudallij and Mudarris. Imam Abu Dawud, what he said about him as well, and other scholars as well.
We're specifically asking about his account of Aisha being accused and not being called as a young girl. This is what we're asking. We're not asking about his life, okay?
No,
we're not
I'm saying-
asking about his biography.
I'm saying there's the other Turk does not mention about her being young girl. That's what
That's
I'm saying.
the one we're asking. Can you bring it up?
Or the other hadith you mean? I'm looking for it.
Yes.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, there's another hadith that says that she was 2 as well. You'd have to Google it though.
Wikipedia.
I just don't have it on hand right now, I guess.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We can come back tomorrow, and you bring your proof of she was 2, and I'll bring my proof about Zuri being Mudallis and
No.
Mudarris. What do you say?
said you checked it, bro. Abbas, come on, dude, bro.
No, I'm checking the hadith, brother. I'm checking the hadith.
Abbas,
Can you give it to us?
We have an imam here, actually, who some Muslims say that he knows
Yeah, we
more
do.
than most Muslims in the world, actually.
He's the
his name
imam
is,
that makes big shakes.
Yeah, his name is
Yes.
Imam Logic, actually. So we actually have him here.
Yeah,
Imam
I second
Logic,
him.
does this sound bad or does it sound bad?
Habibi. May Allah bless us all.
I'm looking at hadith for you.
This is not the way to approach with hikmah. This is not the way of the hawk.
Thank you for
We
taking
talk
your
with
time,
evidence.
Imam Logic.
Mashallah.
Masha Yeshua.
Masha Yeshua.
So, boss, you got any more imaginary hadiths you want to bring us?
No, I'm saying there's another Turk, and I'm looking for that Turk, which says doesn't mention about her being young age. I think my brother Al Masih know that. He must have read that the other Turk, and this come from the
Yeah,
other
I
chain.
actually checked all the hadiths about that. I couldn't find. That's why I'm asking you, bro. And I just actually texted somebody to look for it as well. But since it's your claim, can you please provide that so we can make sure that you're telling the truth, brother?
Yeah,
Honestly.
sure.
I
I'm
don't mean to
really
jump
sorry.
from hadith to hadith, but
Okay.
have you heard of Muslim
Just
sport,
give me a minute.
Abbas?
I'm gonna mute myself. Just give me a minute.
You mean the Olympics in Islam, DJ?
You know, it's similar to that. I mean, Muslim sport, I heard has
Guys,
become very popular
sorry for
in their
interrupting. Can you guys
sports
clarify
venues.
something for me? You said Abbas is like a only Quran Muslim, right? Is that what you guys said?
He's
He's
the
like Quran
sheikh
only
of the
light.
Ummah.
He's acting like it today.
So he refuses like Bukhari and all that stuff.
When he doesn't like it.
Yeah, he's what we call a Quran only light. He picks and chooses the the hadiths to like and dislike.
He's a Quran only buffet. You know, in the buffet, you walk up to what you like, and you're like, "Oh yeah!" Throw that on your plate. You walk up to something you don't like, you're like, "Ooh, we'll leave that there." That's kind of like,
Then what's the point of believing the religion if you do that? I mean, then
Yeah,
the religion is not the truth. Simple.
That's a good point. The truth.
Yeah, some people like buffets, but I guess I wouldn't consider it a good thing when it comes to religion. You know, when it comes to food, I don't mind it, but
Yeah. Good point.
Chris, did
But
you see
Abbas,
the room? Did you see the room where I got cussed out by Shadid earlier?
no, I didn't. But was it recorded?
Yeah, it was on this stream. I was streaming the room.
Oh, nice. So you even got him to cuss you out on stream.
Yeah.
No, I was. I had to drive because my wife's working tonight. She's. I'm off now for the weekend until we go to Cuba on Monday, but she has to work tonight and tomorrow. So I'm on kid detail, of course, for the next couple of days. And when you have 4 children that live with you, they all want to go to different places on a Friday, right? So I've been driving around God's creation for the last few hours.
God bless you, Chris.
I don't know why this is so common, but when you look at like these Muslim YouTubers when they debate, I don't know why they suddenly get so angry. They start cussing people out, insulting, trying to belittle people. It's very common. It's crazy.
Yes, it is.
No, I think that these guys have like these serious demons that are manifesting. So when these guys are insulting, they're insulting, but there are these demonic entities in them that are manifesting too. Like,
well, their own religion tells them that, though, the truth. Because don't each one of them have a jinn and an angel?
Yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, Muhammad had a jinn that actually tells him command. The word here is the command, amr. The word is amr. Like, commands Muhammad to do good things because he became a Muslim.
Hey, and if you're in Saudi Arabia, anybody out there in the audience that's in an Islamic country, and you see a big snake in your house, don't fear, well, at least for 3 days. All you have to do is command the snake, because in Islam, snakes can talk and they can hear. So all you have to do is command to the snake that remember the covenant that Noah made with you, and remember the covenant that Solomon made with you, that you would not harm us. And if the snake still is in your house after 3 days, then it is the shaitan, it is a jinn, and you're allowed to kill it. But if it is not, it is because some of the jinns, of course, accepted Islam. And when they accepted Islam, they would take the form of a snake, and they would dwell in the houses. But the jinns that accepted Islam, once they were commanded with those commands, they would leave the house. So the ones that left were the good jinns. The one that stayed were the bad jinns that didn't accept Islam and they needed to die.
Bro, all this sounds made up, honestly, man. It just sounds made up. For like, I'm not even lying. Like this religion, there are too many weird fantasies and fairy tales. At this point, it just sounds made up.
Allah hated some reptiles.
Man, I mean, shaitan is already bad enough, but a snake shaitan. Now that is very bad.
What about them poor geckos?
Oof.
Yeah, you gotta kill the
Poor
snake
geckos.
and also black dog and all the other animals. Man, the lizard. Is it the lizard one, brother Chris?
Yeah, brother Al
What did he
Masih.
do wrong,
The
bro?
gecko, the lizards, the little guys.
Gecko,
What
yeah.
they ever do to Allah?
Man, he didn't help the Ibrahim alayhi salam, man. That's not good, bro.
The darn lizards done got cursed for all eternity because they didn't. Are you telling me they done got cursed for all eternity because they didn't help Abraham?
Exactly, bro.
What about the rock that stole his clothes?
Musa, huh?
Bro.
Man, you know what's a good animal though. Man, I wish Danny and Scott were here. You know what's a good animal though is a camel apparently.
Oh, DJ.
Man,
Oh,
man.
DJ. Oh, you got me going on this one now. Oh, the long neck she camel.
You know, Chris, but before I was married, sometimes I would just look at women and I'd be like, man, she looks like a good looking long neck she camel.
And it's not even just that, because there's an actual hadith. There's a narration about Fatima, of course, which we all know is Muhammad's daughter, and Muhammad wouldn't marry her off to Abu Bakr and or Umar because, of course, she was too young for them. They were way too old for her. That just couldn't happen to Muhammad's daughter, even though he did it. But needless to say, within that hadith, at the very start of it, and I can't for the life of me believe how Robert Rowe could read it and not like he just skipped on over it. Well, because he had the main point underneath it, but he just read over top of it like it was not even there. And it stated that he received out of the war booty, so what his part of the war booty was a camel.
Oh my goodness!
I
posted the long neck she camel.
We know what war booty is, people, don't we?
Yeah.
And you're done getting a camel for that war booty?
Can somebody read the super chat for me?
So we're just passing time. What was that?
Abbas has to be the worst pizza delivery boy, right along with his dawah. I agree, Omar. I agree.
Man, we're just
didn't like
clowning on
Muhammad
both
also say that
ones.
we should drink camel urine, like something like that?
Mr. GodLogic, can I say a special request for a dear brother that just put a super chat in? He posted something on his Facebook, and could I say something live on your YouTube for it?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So a brother of ours, Omar, has a son who's doing a fundraiser. And I've posted the link on my YouTube channel on the community tab for anybody that feels like they would like to help this young man in reaching his goal for the charity that he's raising the money for. I've already started and put the link on my community tab. So how about we as Christians show him how much love Christians have for one another? Let's get this young man to his goal.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, Logic, you won't believe who messaged me on Clubhouse. Zaytun.
The coward.
That dude is weird. He said.
He's weird.
He said you're bull.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Did DJ just cut off, or was that just me?
He cut off.
Oh, yeah. So,
wait.
I think if
Whoever Sam is in the chat, who's talking about the new Bible updates. Come on up and have a discussion. Go ahead, DJ.
I think when I kind of get out of the app, I think it probably mutes me. But Zaytuni said, "You got cornered in Arabic, Avery. Man, you better learn Greek or something."
Guys, can you guys hear me properly?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, to answer the guy in the chat that messaged me, yeah, I did post it. It's on my community tab. If you go to my channel, Chris Claus, and then go to the community tab, the link's there.
So, guys, there's something like I found in this YouTube video where it was like this man was just giving like extra historical evidence for like the crucifixion of Jesus. You guys know that like when he was crucified, there was like an eclipse, right?
Say that again.
Hello? There was a solar eclipse. Like, I mean, is it called? Yeah. There was sudden darkness on the land, right? There was an eclipse.
Okay.
Yes.
So
correct.
So wait, where is the wait? I'm just trying to find. Okay, so there's this Chinese historical source that was dated to 31 AD, and you know that at this point, the 31 AD, like the Chinese did not know about Jesus. When Jesus was being crucified, they didn't know about him, and I know him dying for the sins of the world wasn't yet preached. Right? It didn't reach China at that point. Right?
Right.
So look what this is incredible. Just look what it says. If you go to the history of Latter Han Dynasty, Volume 1, Chronicles of Emperor Guanggu seventh year, it says this in English. Right, this is a translation. In the day of Gui Hai, the last day of the month, there was a solar eclipse. The emperor avoided the throne room, suspended all military activities, and did not handle the official business for 5 days. He proclaimed that my poor character has caused this calam. Oh, sorry, guys. I think I'm reading the wrong thing. Wait. Sorry. I think I'm reading the wrong thing. Wait, sorry. 1 second. Wait. Okay, but again, okay, guys, sorry. Here it is. I was reading the wrong thing. I'm sorry. So again, it's History of Latter Han Dynasty, Volume 1, Chronicles of Emperor Guangwu, 7th year, the same thing, but another part of the source. It says summer fourth month of the year, on the day of Renwu, the imperial edict reads, Yin Yang have mistakenly switched, and the sun and moon were eclipsed. The sins of all the people are now on one man. Pardon is proclaimed to all under heaven. Did you guys hear that? On the day of like the crucifixion of Jesus, on the date, right? Dated by the historians, date of the source, they wrote that there was a solar eclipse on the land, and somehow this Chinese man, the emperor, claimed that this solar eclipse means that a man is dying for the sins of the world, and because of his death, grace is proclaimed to all under heaven. Did you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question is, how would he even know this? Because the gospel was not yet preached to the whole world. China didn't know about Jesus dying for the sins of the world. But somehow, the solar eclipse that occurred in the crucifixion, the Chinese saw it, and the emperor saw it, and somehow in his heart, he knew that the solar eclipse meant that there was a man dying for the sins of the world, and because of his death, grace and mercy can be proclaimed to all under heaven. This is incredible.
That was actually the pre-incarnate Muhammad.
But guys, this is indisputable evidence that this event was supernatural, because it's like, for example, me seeing an explosion like far away from my house, but somehow I know what caused the explosion without me being there, right? These guys weren't with Jesus when he was being crucified. They didn't even know who Jesus was, but somehow they said that this solar eclipse means that there's a man dying for the sins of the world. How did they know this? I believe it was the Holy Spirit talking to the hearts of these men. But yeah, this in itself is evidence that Jesus was truly crucified, and that there was a solar eclipse in the land, and that the thing about Jesus dying for the sins of the world is like something that's verified. This is incredible historical, indisputable evidence of the event. And let me just post the thing on the live chat very quickly.
That's beautiful, man.
Yes.
Beautiful. Masha Yeshua.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeshua.
Did the boss fall asleep over there? Is he trying to find the hadith that's next to this Injil or something? Or
he's diligently seeking. In the meantime, if you guys have not hit that like button, what do we know about them, Chris?
Uh-oh. If you have not hit that like button, you done secretly kissed that black stone, people.
Mm-hmm. So make sure that you hit that like button, or we know something about you. We know something about you.
Hey, can I share something? The truth, nice to meet you, brother. I think it's the first time I'm talking with you.
Yeah.
So this is from Sahih Muslim. Pay attention what it says. Sahih Muslim 9:12. Okay. This is reported by Abu Musa, the narration. Okay, it says, the sun eclipsed during the time of the Messenger of Allah. He stood in great anxiety, fearing that it might be the doomsday. So anytime when any type of eclipse, happened, Muhammad would be feared. Like he would try to, like do stuff, and we're gonna see like do stuff that just shows that how much he was in fear. Okay.
Yes.
It says he stood in great anxiety, fearing that it might be the doomsday, till he came to the mosque. He stood up to pray with prolonged qiyam, ruku, and prostration, which I never see him doing in prayer. Then he said, "These are the signs which Allah sends, not on account of the death of anyone." Pay attention. Not on the account of the death of anyone or the life of anyone, but Allah sends them to frighten thereby His servants. So the purpose of the eclipse is Allah is always. It's not a natural phenomena. Okay, it's not a natural phenomena. It's Allah frightening His servants every single time. So that's how Muhammad explains the eclipse. Okay, so when you
Bro,
see
that's
any such
ridiculous.
thing, hasten to remember him, supplicate him, and beg pardon from him. And in the narration transmitted by Ibn Ala, the words are, the sun eclipsed, he frightens his servants. So the whole purpose of the eclipses is frightening. It's not somebody dying or somebody being born, which is really, really funny. But there you go.
Bro, that's ridiculous, honestly. I know that, like, I mean, that's just ridiculous, honestly. But I mean, even if a Muslim just quoted that this piece of historical evidence, I think it was the emperor, the man who wrote it, but like that was there, right? I don't want to make a mistake. I think, yeah, like the fact that they just saw this and then they just connected this with the man dying for the sins of the world. No Muslim would be able to refute this. I don't know what they would say. I know they would make up something, but I mean, yeah, bro. I don't know what they would say. Even if they said, "Oh, Allah is just trying to scare us" and all that stuff, they wouldn't be able to explain how the Chinese saw this event as meaning that, oh, Jesus, someone's dying for the sins of the world. So yeah, yeah, man, it is irrefutable.
Yeah, that's why
Hey,
we
Mr.
believe that
GodLogic.
Muhammad only saw the eclipse. Oh, sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, just 1 second here, brother. Hey, Mr. GodLogic, I thought you had something there on the screen. What was that? Looks like another Muslim left the religion. Possibly could have been a person that you may have had a discussion on Isaiah 53 about a month ago. The reason why I wanted to point this out is that if it is the same guy, and we don't know, it could be, and eventually we'll find out, because he'll eventually come back onto the stream and he'll say that he left Islam and everything else, and we'll find out if it's the right guy or not. But even if it's not, we plant seeds from time to time, and that's what we're called to do, of course. And if so, then a seed would have been planted on that day and just produced its fruit on another day. But either way, praise God for another one leaving Islam, and I hope that he comes to Christ if he hasn't already.
Amen. The Bible literally says. The Bible literally says one man writes souls, he plants, another man waters, and God grows the harvest. So That's amazing. If that is him,
stuff.
that's amazing.
Did you guys know that like after like 3 days after Jesus' like death, after the solar eclipse, the Chinese recorded that there was a rainbow halo encircling the sun. Like there was a rainbow halo encircling the sun, like on the third day, the day that Jesus was supposedly resurrected according to the Bible. So yeah.
Where you get this from? Some apocryphal book?
No, basically these are just like historical sources of what was going on the days that Jesus was crucified. These Chinese recorded this solar eclipse that happened, and yeah, it's not an apocryphal book. It's actually historical evidence.
Speaking of apocryphal book, man, the Quran. I can't wait for Monday. I know you'll be busy a little bit, GodLogic, but it's all good. You got a good subject going on Monday, and it's important work. But man, on Monday on Clubhouse, I hope everyone is able to make it. All my Clubhouse brothers and sisters. It's going to be a really good room. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I mean, like I said, you don't have to, man, because you're going to be doing family time. But I appreciate it.
You show me so much support, brother. I don't care if I'm in Cuba. I'm be there to show my support for you.
We're going to be exposing how much the Quran steals. Well, not just the Quran, but Islam in general steals from non-canonical sources and apocryphal sources and just pagan stuff from Jewish, Christian, and other non-canonical pagan sources, like the Gospel of Thomas, Infancy Gospel of Thomas.
Are you trying to say?
Talmud.
Are you trying to say that if Muhammad lived at this time, he'd be getting copyright striked left and right?
They try to already do it, Chris. In the Quran, it literally says, you are already taking from tales of the ancients. So it's going to be a good room, man.
Chapter 25, verse 5, chapter 23, verse 83, and chapter 8, verse 31.
There is like 6 of them. And the tafsirs literally give him away as well. It is nuts. Tafsirs... Like, I don't know if I want to give away too much, but
surprise us, bro. Don't give it away.
Hey, Mr. GodLogic, what do we got for the like to view ratio right now?
I'm not sure. Can somebody help me out?
Somebody help us out here. What's the like to the view ratio? We sitting at about where we need, or we need to pause the show a little bit here and get them likes up?
So we got 200 folks in here.
Got to be at least 170 likes, then, right?
Oh no, it's got to be way more than that because at one point there was almost 240 people.
Oh, it's got to be over 210.
Yes, absolutely.
It is at like 194 right now where I see it.
194?
That's under 2?
That's crazy, guys.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can handle that. Can you?
Oh, if it's at 194, man, that's crazy. Come on, guys. Let's get the likes up to 200 at least. There's 200.
Guys, I just want to say that I just can't find it at the moment, but I promise I can bring it next time when you're here. I'm just so bad in looking things on the spot. I'm really bad.
Just a second, boss. Are you guys out there to that black stone? Come on now, hit that like button.
Oh man.
Bro. But yeah, it's okay, boss.
But I definitely read the hadith, the other hadith, the Turk. When you're next, I definitely bring the hadith. I just can't find it right now. I don't know why. I just can't.
I think Chris definitely had his as well.
Maybe it's too late. But I'll show you the hadith if you want to see. So there's other Turk there. So this young age one is from Shihab az-Zuhri.
Just a second though. I'm going to let you finish, and I'm very sorry for interrupting you, boss. But my only request is that you please do not put a footnote into the hadith.
Yeah, no. I just put on bookmarks. I have so many topics, and I put it somewhere. So that's what happened. I don't put footnotes now.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to follow Sheikh Ibn Fibn footnote. That's all.
I see what you mean. Okay. No. He's a good brother.
You got to admit, he added that footnote, though, right?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You got to admit, though, he added it, right?
No, yeah, he was wrong. I was definitely wrong.
Dude,
Amen, he was
that's
wrong.
honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being honest with that.
I mean, whatever he was saying, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I was shocked to hear that as well. But
that's
yeah,
right, Usman, you were wrong.
Yeah. I mean, no one is infallible.
That's right, all you cheerleaders sitting on Clubhouse keep coming in saying that GodLogic got smashed by Sheikh Ibn Fibn footnote. He was wrong.
Yeah, I actually originally GodLogic, I came for the preservation thing, but the brother is gone, the one who was talking about. So if you want to talk about the Quran's preservation, I'd like to discuss with you maybe next time.
Yeah. I know it's late for you. So
yeah. So he was just saying that the Quran is only one Quran, and no one can make a false copy of the Quran, which actually goes against the hadith of Osman burning the other Qurans. I mean, from the very original, people were making mistakes in the Quran, so that's why he has to burn the others. So we Muslims don't believe that no one can make the false copy of the Quran. What we believe is, as Allah says, Allah will preserve it. Allah will preserve the zikr, and that is preserved on the form of Hafs manuscripts. Hafs
Yeah,
Quran.
but Abbas, don't forget, it says Allah collect as well. So did Allah collect it?
Allah collect. You mean talking about Surah Qiyamah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collected, or people who people after later on, they had to do it.
Allah collected for us. Allah. Well, that's what we call al arda al akhirah. You know, al arda al akhirah is the final recitation.
The end of the earth. Yeah.
No. The final recitation, which Jibreel revised twice in the last Ramadan with Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's called al arda al akhirah. So that's
Jibreel revised. What was that?
Yes, revised last time, twice revised in the last year of the Prophet. We call al arda.
Jibreel revised what?
No. With Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Revised what?
The whole Quran with Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
So Jibreel revised the Quran.
No, for Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He done.
So Allah didn't do it. Jibreel did.
Yeah, well, Jibreel worked for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is a messenger between Allah and his prophets.
It was just weird to hear you say that an angel is able to, revise the divine, eternal word of God.
No, what's wrong with that? I mean, it's a revision happened. That this is going to be, and the final revision we call it.
Like you're putting both feet down and you're planting on this one, aren't you?
No, I'm not. It's even the hadith says that al arda al akhirah, and even the scholars have written it for thousands.
Hey, Mr. GodLogic, do you know what revision means?
I don't.
DJ?
Changing it up, right?
Yeah, it implies a change.
Well, do you know the chronological order of the Quran? You know the
chronological
order is different.
When Allah revises, it's not in the way that we revise.
No. What we're saying is Al-Fatiha was not the first surah.
Right.
Al-Fatiha was not the first surah revealed, but it was put in the first place. So this is what we call the.
You done made me spit out my drink, GodLogic.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get you, boss.
There's a chronological order and is the final order. So that's what happened. That's what if you want to call it revision. The Surah Tawbah, which was one of the last one, is in the middle, 9. So that's what called al-Arda al-Akhirah. Jibreel revised with Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is the final order of the Quran should be.
Abbas, are you aware that we do not have any Uthmanic manuscript, right?
No, we don't. Yes, we know we don't have that. Yes.
So just real quick,
even the 6 earliest manuscripts of the Quran, like from
really quick,
they were revised by these I would say Muslim men. They were revising to see
check
if it was
1 2 check 1 2.
Moderators. If there's a guy, he's acting weird, go ahead and kick him out if he's spamming and being weird. Unless he wants to come up. If not, if he doesn't come up, kick him out. Because we don't need any weirdos or trolls. But yes, continue, guys.
So as I was saying, and they looked at the manuscripts, and a lot of these manuscripts, some of them were incomplete, some of them had mistakes, and some of them had parts where there were additions, and other parts where some things were erased. So yeah, man.
Well, scholars knew that for centuries, or
So why
actually
do
at least
Muslims say it's perfectly
thousands of
preserved?
years, when the scholars of the Quran, history of the Quran, they're writing everything. And I can quote you something if you like me to tell you why we think Hafs Quran is the original. Al Qiraatul Amma. We call it Al Qiraatul Amma. So I'm going to quote you one before
What?
I go. I'm going to quote
But
you.
one thing, where are you quoting from?
I'm quoting from the book called Al Burhan fi Ulumul Quran from Al Zarkashi.
And why? But wait. You're saying that this quote will prove that Hafs is the original one. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So they'll
Because
be giving us historical evidence to prove that, right? They'll be giving us historical
That,
evidence, right?
what historical evidence you give me?
No, you're claiming that Hafs is the original, and then all of these are just whatever. But you know that you can't just claim that, right?
No, because I'm claiming what the scholars have written it.
the
And
scholars have
So
claimed
because the
7
scholar
Qur'an.
says something that's not how
no, they no.
we're debating
I tell you,
historical
who are they quoting? Who is he quoting? Al Zarakshi. Who is he quoting? He's
historical
quoting a
matters
tabi.
require evidence. You can't just say, oh, because the scholar said that. That's not how it works.
So what kind of evidence you want?
I was just saying that from what I've seen, there is no Uthmanic manuscript, even though he sent 9 to multiple provinces. We have none of them. And even the 6 earliest manuscripts, they found parts where they were erased, they found additions that were added later on, and they found multiple differences in the manuscripts. That's what I'm saying. So my point is clearly the Quran is not preserved. Then you said, oh no, Hafs is the original one. And I'm going to quote, I'm saying that will this quote include historical evidence to prove your point? I don't care what your scholar says. Does he give evidence?
Oh well, what we're saying is we don't have the original written copies. We don't have it. We didn't keep it for
Okay.
many reasons. Maybe it just wear off, or maybe people lost them. But we Muslims also
So
believe
you don't even
in the
have the original copies,
memorization.
and the copies you have now, those manuscript copies that you have now, the Sana, the Petropolitanus, all those, the manuscript that you have now have problems. So how is the Quran reliable? If
No,
even
no.
the manuscripts you have now with you are not the original ones, yet still those manuscripts have a lot of problems in them. How can
We
you say the Quran is reliable and is preserved?
we Muslims do not only believe in the written form of Quran, we also believe in the memorization of the Quran as well. We call hifz.
Yes.
Yes. So even we do not have any copy of the Quran in the world left, we will still have the Quran in the memory. And people can correct each other. Every year we read Taraweeh in Ramadan, we finish the Quran every year since the Prophet's time, or since
So
Umar's time at least. And we are revising the Quran every year. So there's no
So
point.
if Muslims memorize the whole Quran, why do the manuscripts have problems? They could have just written everything if they memorized everything, but that's not true.
No, what I'm
If that
saying
was
that
the
we
case, then the manuscripts would be perfectly fine, right? They wouldn't be lost. If they memorized everything, they could have written it down. Everything would have been properly preserved, but that's not the case.
look.
We find a lot of corruption, additions, and missing verses and differences. If all of them memorized it, they would have written it down properly.
Well,
Isn't
we
that
do not have no difference between Hafs and Hafs. We have difference between Hafs and Warsh, and I agree with you. So what I'm saying that any Quran disagrees with Hafs in any shape or form, that is the error. Okay. So what we're saying,
What
how we
the Abbas,
What are you
yes.
saying, bro?
come on, man.
What do you mean?
You
I
can't
mean
just
that what
make
I'm
these
saying.
like we already know what the scholars have said about the 7 different Qur'at, and we know that before 1924 that the the Hafs version of the Quran wasn't even the majority reading of the Quran.
No,
Exactly.
So
says who?
I don't understand why you're trying to say
No.
that the
Where you get
Hafs
that
is the
from?
original rendering of what like
Exactly.
it doesn't make sense compared to what your scholars have said.
First of
Abbas,
all, where you get this
that's not
idea
even
from
in
that
Abbas.
Hafs
These are
was
the 6
not
earliest
majority
Quranic
people were not
manuscripts.
reading
Wait,
Hafs. Where you get that idea
Abbas,
from?
these are the 6 earliest Quranic manuscripts, right? You have the Tukapi manuscript from in Turkey. You have the Samarkand in Uzbekistan. You have the Mayil in London, England, and you have the Paris Petropolinus in Paris, France. You
Right.
have the Al Huzayni in Cairo, Egypt, and you have the Sana in Yemen. These are the earliest Quranic manuscripts, and all of them All of them have additions. Some of, I'm not. They have additions. They have differences, and they have missing words. None of them are from the time of Uthman. So that's my point. If the earliest Quranic manuscripts are filled with problems, additions, partial removed, and differences, how can you say the Quran is preserved? That's my point. No, you're saying that, watch, but these are the earliest manuscripts. The earliest manuscripts have problems in them. That's the point. So if the earliest manuscripts are filled with additions, parts that were removed, and differences, you can't tell me the Quran is preserved.
That's
you can't
what I'm
tell me it's
saying.
preserved.
If
And
we only
also,
rely,
Abbas,
if
just
we
one
only
second,
rely on the
Abbas.
manuscripts, then we have a problem. But we don't only rely on manuscripts as well. We rely on memories as well. Hifz of
No,
the Quran.
but then if you
Just a
rely on
second,
your
though,
memory,
Truth. I want to question Hafs, because he believes that Hafs is the original rendering of what Muhammad said. Now,
Not me
in
saying that,
Hadith,
scholars are saying
just a second, though, Abbas. In Hadith, if a man is untrustworthy, would you take his account within the Hadith?
Well, his Hadith is a different science than the Quran. Hadith is not the same as Quran.
If he was untrustworthy, would you even take his account in the Hadith?
No, but his Hadiths were not trustworthy. Yes, we know from the history, the scholars talk about his Hadith.
Was Hafs a trustworthy man, is what I'm saying.
When it comes to Hadith, he was not. Yes.
No, what I'm asking you, it was Hafs a trustworthy man?
When it comes to Quran, 100% yes.
How can you know that when the only indication, because it shows that he's an untrustworthy man because of what the Hadiths say about him, correct, Abbas?
I tell you one thing. Sorry,
but wouldn't you agree, though, Abbas, that the Hadith actually identify Hafs as an untrustworthy person, correct?
Yeah, I heard you. Let me explain what I'm trying to say here.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam Amasi.
Hi guys.
Hi guy, how are you, man?
Brother, my Muslim brothers. Brother, this debate is useless because no one, I've seen the comments. Everyone is laughing, everyone is degrading Islam, and brother,
No,
this debate is useless.
No, but if you look at the comments,
guys, if you want,
I think Abbas thinks that our conversation has been pretty productive so far.
Exactly.
If you, brother, if you want to understand Islam, have knowledge of Islam, go, and if you don't have any scholar to reach, go and watch any YouTube video.
Assad, how long have you been here? How long have you been watching?
Brother, this is my first time. I only know the GodLogic channel just today.
How long have you been watching this show, like today?
I just came in, brother.
He was in there.
Did you know that he throws Ibn Abbas under the bus?
I just came in, but I've read the comments, brother. Everyone is laughing. I'm saying to the Muslim brothers that this is useless, brother.
I spoke to a scholar. I spoke to a scholar in San Diego, California, and he told me that he told me something really troubling, that there are multiple messiahs in Islam. Should I trust him?
Brother, I can't answer you. I don't know. I don't have Islamic knowledge. I didn't came here to answer you on your questions. I am
why
Muslim.
did you even come on here? Just
Brother,
to try to get a boss off the show because he's on here with Christians?
Don't every Christian doesn't know about Christianity, about the rules and everything.
Yeah, but you've never met Imam GodLogic.
Right. So it's okay. You don't have to be a scholar, Assad, to talk to me. You can talk to me with whatever you know.
But the questions you ask, I am not qualified to answer you.
Okay, so how about this? Let me ask you a question that I do believe that you're qualified for. It's not something super deep, nothing scholarly, just you personally, Assad. Why are you a Muslim? Why are you a Muslim?
Because first of all, every humankind, every person is born Muslim. Okay? We believe in every person is born Muslim. And I am born in a Muslim family.
Okay.
My grandparents were Hindus from India.
Okay.
to Islam.
Okay. So I was born, so I'm a
Why
human. I
I
was
believe
born.
why I believe in Islam, because
No, no.
I believe that this is the true religion.
Why though?
Because I have studied it. I have not studied it, but I have my faith in Islam, in Allah, because I have read the Quran.
Uh-huh.
I have read the Quran, and
Okay.
because it is scientifically correct.
So look, as soon as you start going into that, when I ask you about what's scientifically correct, don't say you're not a scholar now, because you said this is why you believe.
I am not a scholar.
So then how do you know that the Quran is scientifically correct?
Because I have talked to scholars. I have
So have I.
asked my questions to scholars, because I am because I want to know, like you, like everyone else. I want to know why I am Muslim.
Okay,
That's
so
why I asked.
what's one of the scientific facts that the scholars told you about? Give me one of those.
Brother, there are many. There are so
I know.
many.
Give me one.
Like the creation of the earth, like the
creation of the earth.
the creation of the earth, the splitting of the moon,
That's not
the
scientific fact. That's actually scientifically false. But let's go with creation of the earth. The Quran says that the earth was created before the universe and the heavens. You believe that?
that the Quran was revealed before.
No, that the earth was created before the universe, before the heavens.
Heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Before the stars and everything.
I think the heaven and the earth was created at the same time. I think
At the same time?
at the same time. Yeah, I think so.
So the Quran actually says that Allah created the earth in 2 days, and then created its sustenance in 4 days, and then he went to the smoke and created that smoke 7 heavens. So the earth was created and finished before the heavens and the stars were made.
Okay, that can be. I think that can be true. I don't know, brother. Like I said to you, I don't have much knowledge. I only got the base. Maybe 1%. Maybe I know 1% of it.
No problem.
I want to learn. I want to learn more. I want to learn more about
Good.
Islam. I am a
If you
Muslim,
want,
but
if
I
you
want to
want
learn
to
more.
listen, brother, if you want to learn
Yeah.
more about Islam, you're in the right place. We have really good teachers that can teach you what Islam really says. I'm Imam
Brother,
Logic. We're missing our Hafiz Danny Davis, and Sheikh Claus here. So we have people that can really help you learn about Islam. Like for example, what I just told you today. And like you said, you know, you probably never read it before, which is okay. It's in chapter 41, how the Quran talks about how the earth was created before the heavens, before the stars and everything. That, my brother, is literally a scientific error. Because the universe has a long age, a long date, long before the earth was created, according to what science says. You know what I mean?
I think because I believe in Islam, the Quran comes before the science.
I see. So
if Allah says something, I don't say why. I don't say who, or I don't say what. I only believe in it.
But what if the book literally contradicts what you know as a fact? Like if a book that says that it's from Allah says that 2 + 2 = 6, you know that that's not true. So you can reject the book. You don't have nothing to fear.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so when I'm reading the Quran, you know, and I see it say something that's obviously false, I have nothing to fear. That's not God talking.
You see, brother, you see, when the Quran is translated into English, the Arabic language is very, very deep, very deep.
Do you speak Arabic?
Every no, I don't.
Okay.
Every word has maybe 15 to 50 and meanings of it. So that's why the Quran can't be translated into English 100%. That's why many Christians or non-speaking Arabic don't understand the meaning of it. 100%
Mr.
meaning of it.
GodLogic, can I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
Yes.
I believe that this gentleman said that the reason why he accepted Islam was because of the scientific miracles. And then you asked him what scientific miracles he felt were true and from God that made him accept Islam, or at least reassured his faith in Islam, of course, right? And then I believe he said that creation of the universe was one of them. But then when you started talking about it, he said that it's okay for Allah to disagree with science. So if it's a scientific miracle that got him into it or reassured his faith, but then he's denying that it's even a scientific fact, I'm not what's going on here, brother?
Yeah. And you said that like you knew so many scientific stuff from the Quran. Now you can't even give us one example, man.
Brother, I am not good in English. Okay, maybe I have said maybe I have said another. I want to say another word, but I don't know.
You've been doing good so far, brother. You've been doing pretty good. You're fine.
So I have we also have the hadith. I don't know if you know the authentic hadith.
Yeah, we know how to
in that
I'm an imam, brother.
Prophet.
I'm an imam.
Yeah, brother.
I know about the authentic hadiths.
Are you Muslim, brother?
I'm not. I'm a Quran only Christian. Original Quran only Christian.
What does that mean?
It means that.
Just to let you know, while you're up here, you are up here with the original Quran only Christians. We have Imam GodLogic, you have Sheikh Chris Claus, we have the Hafiz Danny Davis down in the audience, and we have our dear brother who is basically a sheikh like me, Mr. DJ Roll.
Yeah,
but are you Muslim, brother?
We are original Quran only Christians. So we'll break that down in a second. So N.A. Odessa says, how come Muslims are always saying you're wrong, but then say they're not a scholar when questioned? Then how do they know you're wrong then? Precisely, N.A. Precisely.
Exactly.
I don't understand. I don't understand you, brother.
We're going to break this down. So we believe in the original Quran, not the Quran that you have today. It's been corrupted. It's been changed. The original Quran.
No, brother, that is not correct. That is not correct.
Let me just tell you our belief. Let me just tell you our beliefs, and then you can tell me what I'm not correct about. Okay. The original Quran affirms that Jesus is God, that God is triune, a Trinity, and that Jesus is the divine Son of God who died for our sins and raised from the dead. That's what the original Quran preaches. And so the Qurans that exist today, it's been distorted by Uthman, who burned the Qurans and made up his own and then spread those out. And that's why you have all this confusion and things of this nature with Hafs and Warsh, Hamza, Ibn Kathir, Al-Qasai and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why we got the fastest growing religion right now. So
no, but the thing is, the worst part about all of this is that we don't even have historical evidence that there was ever a Caliph Uthman. Do you guys know that? There's not, like, he's a caliph in that time. He was in an important position, so there should be any piece of historical evidence indicating that. There isn't a single piece of historical evidence indicating that there was a Caliph Uthman. That's the worst part about it.
Brother, how you know that? How you know that, brother?
So, do you guys know this YouTuber called Sneakers Corner? I don't know if you guys know him.
Sneakers Corner.
Sneakers Corner. So I think he changed his channel.
Oh, brother.
He used to give historical presentations, making historical arguments against. Can I just finish, please? So he used to make historical arguments against Islam, and he said that there isn't any evidence for the existence of Caliph Uthman. There isn't any evidence. And, you know, I haven't seen it yet. And clearly there isn't. So yeah, not only the part about him burning, you know, the Quran and then all that disaster and everything, but there isn't even historical evidence to prove he existed. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah,
the whole history of Islam is full of his evidence.
Boss, you're still up?
Huh?
You're still up?
Well, I was waiting for my brother to just finish, then I'll answer.
What just happened?
Chain of narration, the chain of narrations.
Yes,
that goes back to that goes back to the Sahaba. That's why we know it is authentic.
But how do you know these chain of narrations? These people existed. Because if I was to make up I could. How do you know those names in the chain of those people existed? That's the thing. I could say this man said this, that man said that, but how do I know these people actually existed?
Yeah, but
Can
how
you
do you
give
know?
Brother,
how do you know anything? Then? How do you know Mark existed or Matthew existed? How do you know these things?
It's the beautiful part about Christianity. There are these early Christians. I will give an example. Who knows Ignatius? Who knows Ignatius? You guys know Ignatius, right? From what Ignatians and these early Christians mentioned the apostles.
How do you know? How do you know this is not a made-up story? I can put the ball in your court now. How do you know this is just not a fake story, fiction, made up later on?
Well, answer him.
I'm waiting.
Is this to me, brother?
I put the ball in your court now. That the truth he's talking about how you know Usman existed, and we know the whole full history of Islam. Though everybody's saying that for 1,000 years, more than 1,000 years, Usman existed. He's the third caliph. So same thing I can say, ask you, how do you know Ignatius existed? How do you know Matthew existed? How do you know he wrote the Bible? Somebody claimed, but how do you know?
If
the question.
Yeah.
Brother, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait. How do you know your grandfather existed? How do you know the Roman Empire existed? Brother, how do you know? How do you know the Persian Empire existed?
Exactly.
How do you know these things?
How do we know
Sorry, I
Ignatius?
disconnected because of the internet, guys. I'm sorry.
How do we know Ignatius
What do you
existed?
mean,
How do
brother?
we know Polycarp existed?
This is useless. You guys don't want to. You guys don't want to.
We literally have
listen.
writings from these men. We have writings from them. We have writings. You don't have writings from.
We also have writings, brother. We also have writings.
No. You know what's the interesting thing about your hadith? You know what's the interesting thing about your hadith? It only came later in the 8th century. That's the best part about it. It only came.
What are you talking about, brother? Where have you got your information from? Where have you got your knowledge from, brother?
Exactly.
Everybody pause. Everybody pause for a second. Let me shout out Conflict Ortiz. He says he doesn't know his own book. He doesn't read Arabic, but yet he complains you don't speak Arabic. But what about Christians that do, like Christian Prince and Ahmed ex-Muslim? They are Christians who speak Arabic and they know the book. So
God bless you,
Conflict. But the point is, you're saying your hadith, but
Hey guys, can I throw a pause in here as well, guys? Just a quick little pause. Just to quickly get over the question here. There's two ways that you can look at it. Muslims have, and I think they'll agree with me, the chain of narration that they believe goes back to the prophet. We as Christians have what we identify as the chain of authorship. Narration is simply stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. Authorship is what has been passed down from generation to generation in the Christian world. Authorship is a lot more credible than narration. Now, in truth's defense, Dr. Jonathan Brown, a Sunni scholar, has identified that the earliest recordings of the Hadith that they have in manuscript form are 150 to 200 years after the death of the prophet. Therefore, Muslims like Dr. Jonathan Brown have asserted that these narrations have been orally transmitted for these 150 to 200 years. Same with the Quran. So these people memorized these. So these were narrations, stories, not authorship. That is the main difference between ours and yours.
And according to Christian scholar, I call him a scholar, but yeah, I think I can call him also an historian. You guys know J. Smith, right? J. Smith.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yeah.
So J. Smith said that there were about 600,000, sayings, and Bukhari took 2,000 and something and threw away the rest. That's the worst part about it. When the Bukhari compiled the hadiths, there were about 600,000 sayings, and he only took 2,000 and something. I forgot the exact number, but 2,000 and something, and he just threw away the rest. That's the worst part about it.
It was between 600 to 700,000, but he only kept the 6,000, around 6,000.
Sorry, man. Thank you for correcting me, guys. I'm sorry, but still, that's bad.
Yeah, it's only like 0.01%.
Chris.
But let me say something before. But hold on, brother. So, brother Chris Claus already explained from the Christian point of view, but I'm gonna read the hadith for you guys, and that will actually help you guys if the Islamic narrations are authentic or not. So this is from Sahih Bukhari 6582. Okay, narrated by Anas. You guys know who Anas is. He's a Sahaba. The Prophet said, this is Muhammad saying, okay, some of my companions will come to me at my lake fount, and after I recognize them, pay attention, after I recognize them, they will then be taken away from me, whereupon I will say, my companions, my companions. Then it will be said, you do not know what they innovated, bid'ah, what they innovated, new things in the religion after you. Meaning the people that the very people that Muhammad considered, close companions, Sahabas, Muhammad is saying that they are gonna innovate, and kind of like he's prophesying something that's gonna happen, right? Which we don't believe, but at the same time, according to Muhammad, the Sahaba, he actually blames his own Sahabas before his death that they're gonna innovate new things, that he's gonna come up with the stories, traditions, all these different things after Muhammad. This is Muhammad charging against his own Sahabas. So what do you say about that, Abbas? What do you say about that other
Yeah,
Muslim?
well, the very crucial point here is we say some of his companions, not all of his companions, some of my companions. That means some people did make things, and we know there are companions who actually reverted, gone back, left Islam as well. And there's one companion of Badr, time of Badr, he killed Salma, one very great companion in the war between Muawiyah and Ali. So they were companions who gone off the scale. So it says some of his companions, not all of his companions. So yes,
right,
companions are human beings, and they make wrong decisions, and they like Muawiyah. I don't agree. Muawiyah was a great man. He was a companion.
Right. Muhammad doesn't give the names of the Sahabas, okay?
That's
but he
right.
takes this companions, and he actually tries to reach out to them, saying like, my companions, my companions. He's actually being like really he's trying to show his love and his compassion towards them, right? And then says that it will be said about them that they will innovate new things in the religion after. So Muhammad knows that these his own Sahabas are gonna lie about Muhammad. So which one do you believe? I mean, you're saying, oh, because of the war it happened. Yes, people can be against each other, and we know that from Aisha and the Ali fighting with each other and all of that. We get that idea. But the idea is that they are innovating new things. They're not fighting with each other. They're innovating new things after the death of Muhammad. And Muhammad is the one who's giving this hadith, okay? So about his own Sahabas, the very people. If let's say if Jesus said about the Matthew, right? If Jesus said about the Peter, if Jesus said about one of his disciples, like like the whole world will turn around, like blaming, oh, Christianity is false, blah blah blah. But you don't find anything like this in the Christian sources against the disciples of the Jesus, that they come up with their own something, okay? But
Well,
Muhammad himself is
Peter,
testifying that they're gonna lie after Muhammad. And you
Peter,
don't know which
James,
Sahabas
Peter and
are.
James, they doubted Paul from the beginning, and they thought he was a wrong one, and he probably
No,
was.
they didn't doubt Paul actually.
One second. Let me speak. And then the point here is the companions. Some companions were, but remember, they were companions like Usman, Umar, and Ali. He says you are a people of paradise. Ashral Mubashara. When he 10 companions say you are going to go paradise. So they were companions. Well, surely we can trust them, whatever they say. But yet they were human beings and they can make mistake. And I'll give you example of Muawiyah. Muawiyah was a companion. Abu Sufyan was a companion. So these kind of a people, we don't really trust them. They fought against the Khalifa. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on the day of judgment, probably people like that, some of his companions. So there's no problem with that. There's no contradiction. There's some people they gone wrong, obviously. Then don't forget, Jesus actually called Peter, "You get behind me, you Satan." So
Okay,
he calling,
hold on.
he's
No,
calling
that's not what
his own
happened. That's not what
his own
happened.
companion is calling him
Oh
Satan.
man, you
Abbas.
So
no,
human,
bro, you're just twisting everything. You
Yeah.
said that you first wait. Like, you first said that James didn't agree with Paul. That's what you said. That's what you said.
James and Peter disagree with
Bro,
Paul.
that's not what happened. Listen, let me explain. The apostles were men. They were not perfect people. It's okay for Christians to sometimes disagree with each other. Do you realize that? Just because they had a minor, argument or incident doesn't mean that they disagreed with each other. Paul literally said that he went to the apostles to confirm if his visions and his revelation was true, and the apostles confirmed it. Just because
Exactly.
they had a minor argument doesn't mean that they contradicted each other and that Peter and James. Where do you find in the Bible? Can you prove that? Them literally saying that Paul is he's a liar and he's against us, or Paul saying that Peter and James are the liars and etc. You won't find anything. It was just a minor incident. And that
Paul
thing
was
of Jesus
fighting.
saying, "Get
Paul was
behind me,
fighting with
Satan."
everyone. Even Barnabas, he just kicked him out as well. He said, "You go your way."
I think you don't
What was
understand
the
the
argument
point.
between them, Barnabas and Paul? Why they went
Bro,
separate ways?
because
What happened?
oh my, listen, this is the point. That's what I'm trying to say. It is
Truth,
normal for Christians to have minor arguments. It is
truth, truth,
normal.
truth, truth,
It is very
truth,
normal.
truth. When you're having these discussions with these people, you gotta recognize what's happening. How now, instead of you being on the point that you were making originally, they've got you on the Bible and bringing up erroneous things, any false little claims, and now you're on a rabbit trail instead of the main point that you was on, bro.
I'm sorry.
So pay attention
Actually,
to that. You gotta
I
pay
didn't.
attention.
I didn't even get to Bible yet. I didn't even ask you a question
No,
yet.
sorry. I was just trying to say that he's
I have a
because I've
lot
heard
of
this
questions about the
argument
Bible.
before. Because there's a small
Yes, and they've
incident that
been
already
answered on this
disagreed with
before
each
as
other.
well.
Somehow that proves that they were against each other.
They've
I'm
been
sorry if I
answered.
went.
They've been answered on all of this before. They know this is what they do. So you have to
No,
recognize
I
when
don't
they're
think.
throwing you off the point you were making, man.
I'm sorry, guys.
You got to
I
recognize
don't think the question I have, you answered that question. I have a question about the Bible. Anyway, it's going to go very long. Next time I'll ask you about the question about the Bible. Today we are on the receiving end, kind of. You keep asking questions, keep attacking Islam, and we Muslims are trying to defend it. So next time when I come,
next time come up, we can talk about the Bible next time. That's fair.
And don't
you want
forget.
to talk?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You want to talk now?
Now?
No. When? Next time, yeah.
Yeah, next time, yeah.
Next time, yeah, no problem. Next time, I have questions about the Bible, about the nature of God of the Bible. I
Okay.
have questions about that, and then you'll see. But anyway, I want to answer one question Chris asked a long time ago about Hafs. Can I answer that question?
Sure.
Chris says, "Why do you trust Hafs?" What I'm saying is, all those scholars who say Hafs lied about Hadith, none of them ever complain about his kirat. None of them. All those scholars who came after him, none of them say his kirat was wrong. Their hadith was wrong. So they could have easily say his kirat cannot be accepted as well. But no one did. Why? Because this is a different science. Hadith is a different science. Quran is different science. For example, one is good in mathematics, but very bad in language or grammar. So grammar, I'm not going to take grammar from him, but the mathematics table of 10, I will take from him. Because even if he tried to make a mistake, he can't make a mistake. So same was the matter of the Quran. Everybody memorized the Quran. Even if you have tried to make a mistake, people know he's going to make a mistake. There is a mistake. They will never take it. But no one did reject his kirat. Why
But
is that
this,
the case?
but I already answered. You know that like I made a point like a few moments ago in the stream where I mentioned the earliest manuscripts of the Quran, right, and how all of them were problematic. These are the earliest. and I emphasize earliest. And I said that if the earliest manuscripts are not even Uthmanic and have additions and parts that were removed and thousands of differences, why would you say the Quran is reliable? That was the point
Well,
of
okay, okay. I'm going
and
to
now you're
answer
saying,
this
oh, it's the
question.
hubs.
I
But I'm
haven't.
saying that I am talking about the earliest. You know what the earliest means, Abbas? You know what the word earliest means, right? Earliest manuscripts of the Quran, earliest manuscripts are problematic. If the earliest manuscripts are problematic, therefore we cannot trust the preservation of the Quran. No matter how many Qurans come after, whatever names you guys keep making up, if the earliest ones are problematic and they're not Uthmanic, the preservation of the Quran cannot be trusted. It is unreliable, completely destroyed by those facts.
No,
So
it's
whatever
not.
you say doesn't matter at this
No,
at
what
this
I'm
point.
saying is we Muslims also memorize the Quran. So yes, if
Yeah,
the
then
earliest manuscripts we have, okay, if I haven't studied them, to be honest. So I'm going to come from very ignorant point from there. I haven't studied them. What I'm saying, we memorize the Quran. So even earliest manuscripts, they have some errors. That doesn't mean the earliest mean the accurate. Earliest is not equal to accurate. For example, we have the earliest Sirah, Ibn Ishaq. And scholars say that's not the most accurate Sirah. Sirahs written after him are more accurate than Ibn Ishaq or Ibn Hisham. So what I'm saying, earliest manuscripts, they were not properly written or preserved in a way, so there are errors in them. But I'm saying we memorize the Quran. So we don't rely on just
so if you
manuscripts.
remember, but that's not the point. The point of manuscripts is to write it down so that to write it down, right? So that people can keep it and all that stuff, whatever. But the fact is, if you perfectly memorized it, why are the manuscripts problematic? We would find a manuscript that's complete, that's perfect, no differences, and everything properly written. But all of them are incomplete. They have
I don't know.
additions and they have mistake and differences, right? So if they perfectly memorized it, why do we find these problems in the earliest manuscripts? That's what you don't understand.
Can I the truth? One thing is also important not to forget. Okay, there is no manuscripts like complete manuscripts, right? Like we have the Qalun, we have the Al Susi, we have the Abu Jafar, we have the Al Bazi, we have the Warsh and Hafs and Duri. All of this, okay, these are the different readings, and then you have to find each manuscript for each of these readings. They don't have any of that. They don't have that.
Even worse.
Even worse, bro. We have one Bible, well, Old Testament, okay, in Hebrew, and then also the Greek, the New Testament, and we have the manuscripts, and we have the critical editions, okay. But Quran, even today, they don't have the critical editions about the Quran. They have
exactly
so much
and
issues that it's gonna be disaster in coming years, okay.
No,
Since
it's not.
catching up, bro.
What I'm saying is Hafs, Warsh, they have differences maybe, but what I'm saying, we follow Hafs, which is 95% of the Muslim world follow Hafs. Yeah, that is the recitation, the original recitation, which used to be called Al Qira'atul Amma. That was his name before Hafs, and that's why I'm saying the old scholars are telling us, like scholars like Zarakshi, scholars like Arthur Jeffrey, like scholar like Al Suyuti. Yeah, Al Qiratul Amma. So that was the original name, and that's what we have. We have 95% of the Muslim world still have the original Quran.
Do you know who actually kept that? It was only Usmanli Empire that kept it. Everywhere else, it was different readings
But
of the Quran that was recited. There was only in Turkey.
my friend,
That's not
do
true.
you have any reference from where where you have this from?
About what?
Exactly.
About that the Quran is not preserved, or I don't know what you said.
Yeah. He's saying there are different recitations all over the world. Where you learn that from?
So tell me, where's Warsh is from?
Only in only North Africa, 11 countries of North Africa,
Where is
which have different.
Where's
The rest of the world is all the same.
Where's Al Susi is from? Where's Abu Jafar is from?
North Africans. They're all North Africans.
Okay, so they are different Qurans. You know when the Hafs was selected to be the Quran, which year it was?
I think Ottomans.
Yeah, which year it was? Not the Ottomans, but yeah, go ahead.
Ottomans used to use Hafs Quran.
Bro, 19.
Ottoman, what?
Ottoman Empire officially follow Hafs Quran, and that was the official for them recitation of Hafs.
That's not official for them. That's what the Osmanlis also kept it. But what I'm telling
Ottoman Empire, you mean
Just
the big
just a
empire?
second, just a second, brother. Now
Hold
I'm
on.
curious. Now I'm curious to understand if the Quran is not preserved. I'm curious now. I want to learn more.
Okay.
How where have you learned it? And I want to know. I want to know where is
An
where
example.
I have to look.
Can I give you an example?
Yeah, yeah.
Surah 3, 146. We've gone that we've gone over this a lot, and Abbas knows that as well. I don't know your name. I don't see you in the thing.
Bro, brother, I'm the black one.
Okay.
The black screen.
Can you read the Surah 3, 146 for us?
I can't read. I don't have the Quran on me now.
What? You don't have it memorized?
Brother, have you memorized the Bible, brother?
I memorized both the Bible and the Quran, brother.
Yeah,
Okay, brother, have you memorized all the Bibles, the old and the new and the everything?
Not the Apocrypha, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
One thing, Abbas kept mentioning Asuyuti. Am I correct?
Wait, Al-Masih has a point he wants to make. He's trying to go somewhere.
I'm sorry for. Okay.
Yeah.
I only
So
mentioned once actually.
is it Assad I'm talking to or Abbas?
Yes, it's Assad.
Assad, hey, nice to meet you, bro. So when you
Yeah.
read the Surah Al-Imran, 146, okay? I'm gonna make it short because I don't want to confuse you. I'll make it short. When you read from the Hafs Quran, okay, it says how many of the prophets. As far as I remember, I don't have the Quran in front of me, but the thing is, it says how many of the prophets fought in Allah's way, okay, and the word used is qatala. Qatala, okay.
Yeah.
Qatala means to fight. Some like how many of the prophets fought, okay? The word is qatala. And then when you read the words, if you read the words, the word used is the I believe was it qutila? Yeah, it was qutila, yeah. Qutila, which means they were killed. Okay? So which one is true now? Half says how many prophets fought in the war, and the word says how many prophets were killed. So which one is correct, Asad?
I'm not qualified to say which is correct, brother. You have to ask a qualified scholar to ask this question.
Okay, let's start from a qualified scholar, Abbas Agha.
Well, I'm not a scholar as well, but my opinion
I don't
is
know. Abbas,
No,
are
I'm
you
not a
scholar?
scholar, brother. I'm just
What have
like
you
you.
studied, brother?
Brother,
Abbas, brother.
I'm just like you. I'm a researcher. I research things. I'm not a scholar at all. But I'm as a Muslim, I have opinion. I
Brother,
could be right. I could be wrong.
a researcher, you can call a researcher if he has studied maybe 30 years.
No, what I
Nobody
mean
in
is,
this group has, I think nobody in this group has studied 5 years, I think.
Asad.
brother, I'm saying you don't have to believe me. I'm saying it's my opinion. Could be right, could be wrong. My opinion is this.
Opinion. What
No, brother. That's the problem, brother. We only can give right opinion, not wrong or right. Only
And that's
right
what I
opinion.
believe.
That's right.
That's what I believe. That's why I
Tell
believe
him.
this is my opinion is right opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm giving a wrong opinion. I'm saying this, in my opinion, this is the right answer. What I'm going to say.
I'm just waiting on you to write a tafsir about
Hafs. I believe in Hafs Kirat.
Tafsir.
Anything, any Quran disagree with Hafs Kirat, that is error. That's where the mistake is. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just waiting on your tafsir because I will buy it. I will buy your tafsir.
I'm not saying that. Actually, there's a scholar called Dr. Shazad Salim. He wrote a book called The History of the Quran. Yeah, he studied the Quran history for 20 years from the Wales University. He done the PhD. He has written a book there, and he is online as well. His lectures available. Dr. Shazad Salim. He said that Hafs is Al Qiratul Amma, and that's the original. And he quoted the old scholars. That's why I wanted to quote you. You don't want to listen. You keep going back to Sana manuscripts and all that. The old scholars
Oh
are
man.
saying Hafs manuscript, Hafs recitation goes back all the way to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
No,
The
it
chain is
doesn't.
very solid.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're wrong.
Brother, I
It
want
doesn't.
to, I want to, I want to say bye bye, brother. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Oh.
You're leaving?
Yeah, I'm leaving, brother. This is not for me.
Oh.
Because I want
You gotta come back, man. You gotta
because
come back. We
brother,
have some talks.
brother, see, look at the comments. You're just making fun of us, brother. I don't like that.
No,
If you want to, if
you
you really
gotta
want
focus
to
on us.
understand, if you really want to understand
Brother,
Islam,
I'm not
You
saying
have,
that.
you
It's
have,
scholars saying that.
you gotta focus on us,
Well,
man.
Scholars
Focus
who
on the
study the
panel.
history of the Quran, they are saying that. It's not my words. Scholars are saying that.
The
yeah. So the
conversation is very productive, man. You're learning about your Quran, things that you
brother,
never talked about before.
maybe it is productive for you, but look at the comments. Everybody is making fun of Islam. And
Yeah, but
I
I
don't
mean,
like it.
Well, it is. So
I
there's
don't
certain
like it.
things that's funny, but it's okay.
Can I say
No,
something?
brother, no. For me, it's not okay, brother. I don't like this. I don't like
Brother,
this,
don't worry
brother.
about the comments.
Brother.
It's a biased opinions as
No,
well.
brother. If you give some good advice to someone, if he and still he doesn't like it, he knows it is true, brother. They are making fun of us, brother.
What
yeah, but if
advice
you
have you given that's been true so far?
good point.
Brother, you don't.
And
No, that
Assad,
is
if
not
you
for
go to
me.
Muslim
I
comment
respect your
sections
word, brother.
where
I
your
respect,
scholars
but I think
debate
we Muslims
Christians,
need to
you see
listen
so
to
many
all of them.
Muslims, you
Defend
see
the
so many
Quran.
Muslims in the comment sections mocking Christianity. The thing. Oh, he left. But the same thing he was complaining about. If you go to Muslim comment sections, you'll find a lot of comments Muslims mocking the Holy Spirit, mocking our beliefs. So I don't see what's the problem here.
Yeah.
And we're not even mocking. We're just laughing at what your religion teaches. We're just
We need to be
asking
able to have,
basic questions.
the adult conversation. We need to have adult conversation without running away.
No, well, listen, I like to speak my mind. The reason is if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me and I will learn.
But
So
Abbas, wait.
if I'm right,
I
somebody
wanted to
will
say
learn.
something to
So it's
you.
all win-win situation for me.
Abbas, you trust in Asuyuti, right? You were talking a lot about him, right?
I only mentioned him once, man. I was mentioning
But do you think
Zarakshi.
he's trustworthy? Do you think it's trustworthy? That's my point.
Well, if you're saying any scholar is 100% trustworthy, I say no.
Okay, so in Asuyuti, I'm sorry if my pronunciation sucks. Asuyuti, Al-Itkan fi Ulum al-Quran, page 524, it says the following. It is reported from Ismail ibn Ibrahim, from Ayub, from Nafi, from Ibn Umar, who said, let none of you say I have acquired the whole Quran. How does he know what all of it is when much of the Quran has disappeared? Rather, let him say I have acquired what has survived. There you go with what your Asayuti. Here you go.
You see, when I was trying to read my references, you stopped me. And you say, no, your Sana manuscripts is this and this, that. Why
Bro,
you
I
have
was just
quoted,
saying that the
why
earliest
you have
manuscripts are
quoted it?
problematic, and that definitely.
When it suits you, you quote it.
No, that's not my point.
When I want to quote it, you
I
don't let
don't
me
care
quote.
about this. Literally, that's not my point. That's not what I'm saying. I'm quoting someone you trust, whatever you trust, and it's clearly showing a report saying with the chain of narration, you trust your chains of narrations,
Don't
saying
put
that
words in
no
my
man
mouth.
can say he has the whole of the Quran because much of it has disappeared.
I
And when I
was
was talking
going
about the manuscripts, I wasn't giving any scholar's opinion. I was giving factual. There's literally evidence. The manuscripts have been studied.
Okay.
And I said the earliest manuscripts are not. They have contradictions. They have they have differences and they have additions, and they're incomplete and then they're not Uthmanic.
Okay.
That is not a scholar's
Tell
opinion. That is a
me,
fact. That is a
who
fact. That's my
Suyuti,
point.
tell me who Suyuti was quoting.
We got to wrap it up soon, guys.
1 second, very quickly.
3
Who
hours.
Suyuti was quoting?
It says it is reported from Ismail ibn Ibrahim, from Ayub, from Nafi, from Ibn Umar, who said, let none of you say I have acquired the whole of the Quran. How does he know what all of it is when much of the Quran has disappeared? Rather, let him say I have acquired what has survived.
So I have quotes from which totally contradict what Suyuti said.
Oh,
I
so
have
they're
quotes there.
contradictions.
No, I have the quote contradicts Suyuti and the Al-Zarakshi, who was as big scholar as Suyuti when it comes to the Quran, and that's why I was quote you originally. And let me quote it what he says. He's quoting Abdul Rahman al-Sulami, and he was a tabi, who was a teacher of Asim, and Asim was a teacher of Hafs. So what al-Sulami is saying, he says this: the reading of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Zaid bin Thabit, and that of all the Muhajirun and the Ansar was the same. They would read the Quran according to the Al-Qira'atul Amma. This is the same reading which was read out twice by God's messenger to Gabriel in the year of his death. Zayd ibn Thabit was also present in this reading, the Al-Arda Al-Akhirah, and it was this very reading that he taught the Quran to
But
people
I mean, I don't know
until
what you're
his
saying,
death.
but here it clearly says
So
that
what
it
I'm
says
saying is,
let not.
according to this quote, all Ashaba, everybody had a one reading, which called Al-Qira'atul Amma. No different recitations, as we heard, there are 7 different recitations, and that's
But
another hadith, and I can show you some another time.
this is saying that
There are
let none
hidden
of you
defects in
say
that
that
hadith.
listen, can I read it again? Let none of you say I have acquired the whole of the Quran. This is talking about the whole of the Quran, like the chapters and everything. How does he know what all of it is when much of the Quran has disappeared? I'm not talking about readings, bro. It literally says much of it has disappeared. Much of it has disappeared. That's my point. I'm not
And I
talking
read
about
it to
readings,
you. It
whatever you're
says
talking
all
about.
have the same. All have the same, and we
Oh,
have
so
those readings. I have many quotes which says we have those readings. Taba
but that's
Tabi'in
not.
saying
I'm not
that.
talking about. It just literally says that. Man, literally, I'm losing brain cells right now. You
All right,
understand what I'm
it's all
saying?
right.
I am saying that it says that
We've been
much
at
of
this for
it
3 hours.
has disappeared. Much
We've been
of
at,
it
we,
has disappeared.
Okay,
Don't you
well,
understand
we've been at
English?
this for 3 hours, guys.
well,
We
that's
gotta
not
wrap
true.
this
That
up,
goes
man.
against the Quran.
Yeah, man.
Quran say Allah.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up,
We
guys.
gotta
Nah,
we gotta
it
wrap
was
this
good.
up.
That goes
I
against
jumped
the
on here
Quran.
at the end.
One second.
I just wanted to let you know, GodLogic. I had jumped on this other Muslim stream. I don't know if you heard of Rumi.
Rumi? You mean
Rumsey is
Rumsey?
something.
Rumsey.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
we kill him all the time on Clubhouse. He blocked me and everything.
Oh man, because
Yeah.
they get so insulted when I was just asking simple questions like the difference between Jesus and Prophet Muhammad, and didn't Prophet Muhammad murder and rape? And it's like, no, he did not murder, he killed. There's a difference. I'm like, okay, and did he? Oh, he didn't rape, and I didn't even get to ask him about the 9-year-old wife. They did. I remember watching one of your videos. I forgot you were talking to these 3 Muslims, and he put his hand up to you. He said, "You have insulted my prophet. I'm
Oh
getting
yeah.
angry. I'm going to walk away." and you were just the way that you were just like, you were like, "No, I promise. I promise. I'm not." I was dying.
Like,
He's
don't
like,
get
"No, I
mad.
promise
Don't get
it's not an
mad.
insult." Like it says, he forgot it. He said, "No, you have insulted my prophet. I am leaving."
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Before I go, can I say one thing? Before I go, last
Is
thing
it
I
gonna
want to
start a
say.
debate?
No. Last thing I want to say, the brother Truth, he says, he quotes Suyuti. I am saying anything goes against the Quran. When the Quran says nothing can enter from it, from behind it, from above it, and we will preserve it. Quran is giving this guarantee. Anybody say otherwise, we're going to follow the Quran and not that scholar. Okay. The law and the other thing I want to say, next time I'm going to ask questions about your Bible, and I hope you will answer as we try to answer questions about
No,
Islam.
but yes, we're gonna answer you. They're gonna answer your questions, but I just want you to know that you haven't answered anything. I just want you to know that you haven't said anything factual. You didn't answer any of the questions that we asked you. I just want
It's the
you to
Muslim
remind you.
shuffle. Yeah,
I think
I don't
I
want you to
answered.
leave here thinking that,
shuffle.
oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask questions about the Bible. You didn't answer anything, and people in
I
the
answer.
in
I
the live
answer
chat are
everything, but you don't
laughing
want to
at you
accept it.
because you haven't. And what did you answer? People in live chat are laughing at you because you haven't answered anything, any single thing. That's the
No,
whole
that's
point.
not true. That's not true. You're being harsh on a guy. He did answer that. A lot of the commentary are contradictions. He answered that
Oh
already.
yeah,
No,
exactly. Oh
when
yeah.
he
I'm
talk about
sorry, I
the
forgot
house,
about that. I'm sorry,
when
I forgot
Chris was
about that.
asking question about the house, when the brother was quoting hadith as well, I was saying
Abbas,
there's other
don't
source
fall
as
into
well.
the trap. Don't fall into the trap. Don't fall
No,
into the trap,
I did
Abbas.
answer to my best ability, and somewhere where I couldn't answer, I say I don't know. will
same, Abbas, the same thing I told my Christian brother about not falling into the trap of following the rabbit trails. I'm telling you not to do the same. Don't do the same, man. It's a trap. It's just to trigger you.
Maybe I'm a bit
All right.
sensitive.
All right. Well, listen, I love everybody that's on the panel, especially Abbas. I love you all. And I want to thank you all for coming through for a good conversation.
Okay, next time.
Next
Love you
time,
too, bro.
Abbas.
Grace and peace.
Yes, yes. Peace of the Messiah to everyone. And may the grace of God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit be upon everybody who's under the sound of my voice and who will watch this later on. We got one more super chat from Conflict Ortiz. He says, so they get insulted when you read what's in their books. He's laughing. Yes, that's exactly what happened, man. They stopped the conversation when I started quoting the hadith, unfortunately. Well, that's what it is. All right, everyone, we are out of here. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Stay prayed up. Pray for this ministry. If you want, please join the Patreons so that we can reach our goal for GodLogic Apologetics. 250 people to join the $20 tier, or 500 people to join the $10 tier so that we can go full time nonstop. Okay. All right. So keep us in your prayers. God bless. You're going to come on the camera when we leave it. All right. I love y'all.